I saw the most ridiculous one, like a manga thing, where guys like they get shrunk really small, and they go inside her uterus and fuck her oviducts, and she's like going,
Huh?
oh my
What?
God, oh hey girl, like you wouldn't be able to feel any
Yeah.
pleasure from that or feel it at all.
Yep. I mean, like, a tampon doesn't do that, so why would
Yeah,
something smaller than that do that?
but the oviducts are like where the egg comes into the uterus. It's not even
Um,
like there
Oh
aren't
yeah.
even
your
nerve endings
your
there for
tubes
That's
pleasure.
true.
basically.
That's true.
Yeah.
I can't feel anything there.
Hmm.
That reminds me of this funny art that I've seen. I can't remember where I saw it, but basically they showed a side by side anatomy of a normal person
Hmm.
and what hentai would present it as. A normal person has all the intestines, like, mouth, esophagus, and then stomach, intestine, kidney, blah blah blah,
Hmm.
and then bladder, blah blah, and then the canal, the V canal or vagina canal, whatever we
Yeah,
call it.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
in hentai, it's just mouth, esophagus, all the way to the
Yeah,
vaginal
yeah,
canal.
true.
That's
Just
it.
an own
You
hole.
know, because like in some hentai, they like put the thing in the back, and then the
It
cream
comes out the
comes out of
front.
the mouth. Like
Yep.
like wait, what happened to all the other parts? And
Yeah,
it's
that
so
those
fucking
systems aren't
funny.
even connected.
And welcome into this episode of the Depths Podcast. I'm your host, Atramentum_X, variety streamer and lewd tuber. This is episode 39, the Dommy Mommy Conundrum. We're talking all about the mommy kink, that soft, dominant mommy, the domineering sense, everything about it. We've brought together a couple of fantastic creators in the space who will introduce themselves shortly. But before we do, we'll give my co-host, Lady Mystique, a chance to introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, I'm Lady Mystique, aka that pink one sounds a bit different this week. I have been a dominant dominatrix, dommy mommy, for the past, doing maths, almost 20 years, about 18 years now. I make content on Fansly and soon to be again on Twitch, and it's great to be here.
Thank you very much, Mystique. Mystique is, of course, an accomplished femdom, formerly of the um, femdom server. What was it called? Yes, Miss. Yes,
Yes,
Miss.
miss. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. We have talked a bit about femdom content in previous episodes, so go check that episode out. The exact one eludes me right now, but it's in there if you just check the episodes, guys. Yeah, but specifically, we actually do want to talk more today about mommy content, so something just a little bit different than your typical femdom stuff.
Yeah, I
Femdom,
think we actually spoke about male dom rather, and I was just there with a moustache on.
yeah, we did both. We did mandom and we did femdom too. The male dom one was like about bratting and such.
Yes.
Yeah. But yes, I'm gonna give our guests a chance to introduce themselves, starting with Husher. Go ahead, Husher. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Hi. Hello. My name is Husher. I have two Twitch channels, HusherX and HusherVA. I for one of them I make exclusively ASMR content, and for the other I make variety content. I have been doing mommy content for around a year and a half, so it's just mostly audios and things like that. Um, hmm, I've been streaming on Twitch for almost, I'd say, almost 3 years. And then I didn't start off doing mommy content, so that might be something that would come up later, um, on how I got into that. And also, I do content in YouTube, Patreon. Am I allowed to say
You're allowed to
You
say
could say
P-hub?
Fansly.
it. No, Harsher's gonna say Pornhub, which you're allowed to
Oh,
say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, you could say that.
Okay. Pornhub and I used to do Fansly, but I'm not active on it now because it's very hard for me to manage so many
That is such a mood.
platforms. Yeah, because I also have 2 YouTube channels and
Oh my
I have a
goodness.
TikTok now as well, so it's just a lot, I can't do everything, even if I wanted to.
Mm.
So yes, that
So
is
felt.
me.
So felt.
And one last thing, my character, I am a cursed potato goddess VTuber, and I'm here to welcome all of you to this podcast. Thank you so much for coming, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Husher. Yeah, I feel that as well. I've recently opened a Pornhub myself and have not really posted on it because I'm too busy with YouTube. It's just the
Same.
creator's struggle. But yeah, you will find a lot of Husher's audios on P-Hub, Pornhub, as well as Patreon. Definitely check those out. Quite an accomplished creator, and we're very happy to have you on, Husher. Making a return.
I'm happy to be here.
Making a return to the podcast is WildflowerPhoenix. WildflowerPhoenix was previously on the Lewd and Melanated episode of this podcast. Wildflower, why don't you reintroduce yourself to our lovely guests, our lovely
listeners?
Yeah, listeners. There we go. That's the word.
Hi. I'm Wildflower Phoenix. I am an erotic voice actress. I don't stream, not yet. I want to, but like everyone else, like I'm busy. I primarily make audio role plays, like long form audio role plays. I I haven't always been into the mommy dom content. That has been going on maybe the last year and a half. So I've been doing this for about 2 years, the last year and a half. I don't know what happened, but suddenly there was just like an uptick in just wanting more like mommy dom content. So I just kind of go where the people lead me. And yeah, some new doors have opened up. It's a little different, but I'm loving the journey. And then like you, I haven't posted to Pornhub at all in a while. So you can still find like all my stuff on Reddit, on Pornhub, and Patreon. But yeah.
That's right.
I
You
need
do
to
quite a
upload
bit of
too.
posting on Reddit. I remember that about you.
Yeah.
Are you
I
primarily on GWA or?
I am. I just finished this project I've been working on for like a year with one of my writers called Hot Wife Hotel. So it's just me and
Oh.
a group of ladies. And so it's
Ooh.
like it's a hotel for people who want to, add a few things to their marriages. It's just a little bit of spice. But yeah, it's like the way it's set up, the listener, like I interview the listener, he will be the only bull there to service all the ladies. And he has an interview with me, and then after my interview, he can pick and choose which hot wife he would like to go visit. So
That's a cool audio idea. Yeah.
it was fun, labor of love, but I'm glad it's done. I'm so glad it's done.
When we inevitably do an NTR episode, we'll definitely have you back on.
Of course. I love it. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for reappearing on the podcast. I appreciate you.
Thanks. Yeah.
So chat, we're here to talk about mommy kink, mommy dom content. What that is and what the appeal is. If you're fans of these lovely ladies right here, then you probably know already. But essentially, it is content that involves the role play of a domineering, nurturing type, usually femme character to the listener, whether that might be in audio or ASMR. So to start us off, and by the way, chat, you may ask questions as well in chat, and we will get to them as we get to them. But to start us off, with a very basic one to our panel here, it's what do you think is the core appeal of mommy content, and why do you think you fill it so well?
Oh, the self-complimenting thing has thrown me.
Yeah, I was like, well, I don't know.
Why should you, and not your competitor, proceed through to the next round?
Right. Okay, I have an idea. I mean, so obviously there are different types of mommy doms, right? But I think the oneness and the core of it all is vulnerability, right? I think that's at the very core of it all, because if you think back to like growing up, hopefully you had a great childhood, but like your mom is the one you went to, kind of like when things were down, you wanted to be comforted. It was always like mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think in the world of the whole mommydom, it's that the nurturing qualities that we may have, right? Or our characters may have. It's that it allows the listener to kind of just open up a little bit more than they would normally to someone else, if that makes sense. I think with mommy doms taking on that we're not judgmental. Like I haven't met a mommy dom that was very judgmental at all, And I think those that listen to us or come to us or for whatever reason, they're looking to kind of just either unleash, unload, whatever it is without being judged for it. That's what I think. That's just been my kind of personal experience with it. Because some of the like the male subs, some of them may have partners, wives, or what have you, but they don't feel that their vulnerability will be handled with care with their partners.
Mm.
So I feel like that's the whole appeal to it. And I just think about like the times, even like for me, like I have kids, right? When your child is hurt for whatever reason that they need you, your mom's always there. So you feel safe. And I feel that because we create these safe spaces, even if it's a domineering mom, right? If it's the dominatrix and they want to be flogged, they feel safe enough in that space with you. And I think if people feel emotionally safe in whatever space, in whatever capacity, they're going to gravitate to you no matter what it is.
I think that's very nicely put. So for you, it's vulnerability and sort of offering people a safer space. Am I sort of?
Yeah, that's the common thread that I've noticed.
Hmm.
That's the common thread that I've noticed is just they feel completely safe. And it's like you never know, because it takes a lot for a guy who's like dominant and out there in corporate America just like and wants to call someone mommy and maybe be babied a little bit.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that takes a lot, and not everyone on the outside, they may seem as like this dominant, powerful man, but they may not know how to handle this other side, And so I think the mommy dom space allows people to be just completely free without the judgment. For me, that's what I've seen like the common thread.
You'll often see articles like every couple of years about why are Wall Street guys going to dominatrixes? That's why.
Because they want to like relax and just turn off and not
Right.
have all that pressure on them for like 5 minutes.
I would definitely
Like
agree with that assessment.
you will often find, that submissives can be from extremely high-powered, responsible positions in their work life, in their home life. I feel that a lot of what submissives seek is the suspension of that pressure of responsibility and being able to turn off and relax and not have to take the lead and be the sort of proactive partner that has to think up what to do or
The decision
has to
maker.
always be prepared.
Mm.
I'm sure that Husher wants to add to this as well, but I'm gonna let my inner social nerd out of her cage after Husher has spoken just for
Absolutely.
a sec.
Okay. And so I think the core appeal, and it's just adding on to what Wildflower has already mentioned, I think it has something to do with feeling cared for, feeling safe, feeling like whatever you do with me or to me, I know you do it with respect. I think in my streams, one of the weirdest things that came out of it is like a lot of people are like, I never thought I'd be into this. And I'm discovering something new about myself today. Two things that have awoken people for some reason is spit redeems and degrade redeems. And most of the time, when people give it a chance, I'd say like 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10, people are like, I don't know why I was into that. I never knew I was into that. And I think what is the core of it is that I never make them actually feel like I'm doing it out of disrespect,
Malice.
out
Malice,
of
yeah.
malice.
Right.
That's the perfect
Yeah.
word. Like I do it because I want them to be happy. I know that
Mm.
sounds so strange, but it's like they ask for it and I do it because I know that's what they're like wanting. So it's almost like there is consent there, and
Mhm.
I always kind of remind them like I care about you, you know, we do this. It's fun and I want to do it because I want to make you have fun. It's an experience, but it's
Mm.
not like I don't really think you're a piece of shit or I don't really think you're
Right.
worthless, because you know what, you would say that like in a degree you're like you worthless, you know, like something like that. But it's
Yeah.
more of like, but because you're mine, you know, if that makes sense.
Ooh, that is a good way to put it.
Total sense.
Mhm.
Yeah, like you're my baby.
Mhm.
And I will say this not to hurt you, but to kind of like excite you, if you know, just to kind of like um put my assert my dominance over you, just to make you feel that I'm above you and I can do what I want to you. And because you have trust in me and you feel safe with me, you're gonna let me.
Mm.
And it's that relinquishing that control that Mystique also mentioned. It's like sometimes you just don't want to be in control. You want someone to take control for you, you know, make the decisions for you because you're
Mm.
like tired. And also another thing Wildflower mentioned is like just wanting to feel that someone cares, that they're accepted. It's that
Yeah.
validation. You know,
Oh,
you want
that's
to
a good word.
feel validated. Like I always mix a lot of praises and positive affirmations and care in my audios as well. So it's both,
Mm.
you know, it's there has to be a balance of both for me, because it's not just about dominating them. It's also making them feel like it's okay. You know, your desires, what people might find weird, or like your struggles even, and your tiredness, it's valid, it's okay,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah.
Let me take over and take care of you, whether that be dominating you and degrading you, or comforting you and telling you you're good enough. So I
Mm.
think that's where it falls into, because being a mommy is like have you are above them, right? You are above them, and you, with that power, you can either comfort them or kind of dominate them. And most of the time people like both,
Mm.
you know. So I feel like that is one of the main um appeals of it. It's like, number one, it's like some people just want to you know, relinquish that control to someone else and not make choices. And the second is like to feel validated and feel accepted. And the
And
third
feel
is like
desired,
just
like
having that
Right.
experience. Yeah.
Absolutely.
feeling desired enough for like feeling desired enough that someone takes the initiative is a big part of it as well, because sometimes you want to feel like attractive enough that someone wants to go for you, you know?
Oh, that's true.
Mm.
I have a lot of
They just
listeners
want
who
to know they matter.
like the yandere thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's true. That is
Oh,
kind of the core appeal of
I
yandere.
didn't even mean like go for you in that way, but yeah, absolutely that
Yeah.
feeds
Like
into the
something like
yandere
to be
thing.
possessive of you. Like, frankly, that's
Oh
very
yeah.
exciting. Yeah.
Like I have a lot of listeners who really love the my yandere audios. It's
Mm.
just like, I think all of us have, sorry, my phone. All of us have that innate desire to want to be wanted, right? It feels good to have someone be okay, maybe not to the extent of wanting to kill someone for you, but it is a role
It's a
play. It's
fantasy.
just
Yeah, it's a role
Right.
play.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
fantasy.
Yeah.
But like to have someone have that much devotion, you know, sometimes we
Mhm.
just want that, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you feel unloved or you're struggling.
Mhm.
Do you find it personally empowering to be sort of in a domineering position over folks?
At
Me?
times,
Yeah.
yes. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie about
Sorry.
that. Um, At times, yes, because for the most part, I'm not necessarily like that. Like, I'm not, I wouldn't say like a mean, like dominant one. Like, I assert myself when I have to. But I think, yeah, I'm just not gonna lie. Yes. I'm just gonna say yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just interesting because there's so many facets to it, right? So I may get someone, and as you're getting to know them, a lot of them are just like, you are way too nice. Like they cannot believe I can turn into them.
Yes.
They're like, you're so nice.
You're
And
too
then
nice to be a dominatrix.
right. And then when you flip it and then you start calling them all kind of names and they're like, okay, wait a minute.
Well, that's the interesting thing because it feels like the stereotype of femdom is like whips and like leather and like beating the absolute crap out of you in CBT, rather than knowing there's different kinds of ways to be dominant as a femme or a masculine for that matter. But I think that is something that people don't realize when they first start engaging with mommy content, that there is a softer, more nurturing sort of side to this.
Yeah. And you can be incredibly sadistic while being soft, I think. There have been raging arguments across Yesmas before over the sort of people who come in and try and differentiate gentle femdom from regular femdom and be like, ooh, femdom is just whips and chains and degrading, and I don't like that. That's weird. And like, I can be incredibly gentle and, you know, edge someone to the point of crying while being like, oh, that's really good.
right.
Yeah, that's amazing. You're doing so good for me. Like, yeah, don't come, don't come. You can let it out, but
That
don't
is
come for the
sunshine and
sixth
honey.
time. Sorry?
In her voice. I'm saying your voice. Sunshine and honey. See, it works.
Oh, thank
I was
you.
about to be like, oh, damn, maybe I should hire you.
Yes,
um,
Mystique is the driver of the Dom truck you can hire. She's for hire.
Drive the Dom truck. I deliver dominance to all the people. All the Dom vending machines you put hay coins into until sex falls out.
oh my god. One sex, please. Whoop. And then
Hey.
just like a $10 bill.
Yeah.
How much sex does $10 get me?
1 second. That's enough. Thank you.
One spit.
It's okay. I don't last longer than 1 second. I'm just kidding.
1 second's all I need, baby.
Damn. Look at me saving money out here.
We love that. So I'll move on to the other question that I've got. This is again about sort of the appeal of mommy content. So conventional thought explains that mommy content, especially that of a dominant nature, is craved as many lack a nurturing force in their lives. Do you agree with this assessment? Is there something else in your opinion that makes it so popular?
I agree.
Okay, my nerd is really wanting to come out of her.
Tamp it down, tamp it down. Let the guest speak first.
Okay. Okay.
I'm shy to speak first sometimes because I tend to overtalk. So
Oh, there's only 3 of us here, so I mean, go fire away.
3 of us and Mystique.
And Mystique. Well, yeah, you know what I mean.
I know.
I agree. At least in my experience, I feel like based on what I heard a while ago, I feel like Mystique has an experience that I never had. Um, just to do a quick background on me,
Mhm.
I I'm a switch, which I only discovered because of the mommy thing. I was never really I never thought of myself as dominant, you know. I got into this kind of role because of my voice. Like that's
Mm.
the main thing. Like I would just talk and people are like, "Wow,
Mommy,
hi
sorry.
mommy." And I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, okay. I'll lean into it, you know." Um but what I noticed is because for me, one of the biggest reasons why I started doing ASMR and audios is I wanted to comfort people. because I struggle with anxiety, depression, you know, ADHD.
Mm.
Whoa, trifecta. Let's go. um, and to me, it meant a lot if someone just told me I was good enough. You know, during my bad times, during the times when I can't fall asleep and I feel like the world is on my shoulders, I feel like I'm falling in a endless hole. I just wanted someone to tell me like, "Hey, it's okay. You're doing a good job. Everything's going to be fine." And that's where I built everything on. So I really resonate with this. Like I really think some one of the biggest appeals of a mommy content and why it's popular is because sometimes we just want someone to tell us we're doing a good job. Someone above us, you know,
Mm.
like a friend is nice, yes, but someone like a mother.
With an
Because I
authority,
think,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Doesn't it feel good if, like, let's say a teacher, a mother,
Your
or someone
boss.
like your boss tells you like you're doing a great job. I'm proud of you. It's like there is a weight that gets a little lifted off your shoulders that you're like,
Mm.
"Oh, it's okay. You know, I am going to be fine." And I think that's where the mommy issues come from. I think a lot of people don't hear that in their lives. I've had people tell me in my stream that they've never heard someone say these words to them in real life.
Mm.
And it hurts to hear that, right?
Right.
But it makes you think like maybe this is why the mommy content is so prevalent, because they just want someone to be there for them, to tell them that they're proud of them, to nurture them, you know, to take care of them. And it's not just all about being dominant and telling them what to do. While yes, that is definitely a specific kink, I think just in general, even without the lewd, the kinkiness, it's just having someone there to take care of you.
To nurture you, yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. I think that's very well put, actually.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. Like I just to piggyback, like everything you said, I totally agree. I think in addition to just knowing that someone's gonna, there for you, just knowing that it's going to be okay. Because a lot of the times I will get some people where they've had a rough day, right? Or just something went completely wrong, or there's some kind of issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're comfortable enough sharing. If I have time, I don't always have time, but the way I kind of frame it, and it's where I draw on my own experience with like my parenting and like my own mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
I actually pull from like real world stuff, and it's just like, okay, so we acknowledge that something happened, right? And it's about how they feel. And I try to get them to work through their feelings because a lot of the times people will go through something and then shut down and won't even care to explore what it is and why they feel a certain way that they do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Usually
how to
moms can
cope.
get us to do that, right? And so for me, it's always a solution based, right? I definitely try to show the positive side of things, even if it's something that's bad. So it
Mm.
gets them to start looking at life and situations a little bit differently or from a different angle, right? Um, so I think for me, everything you said, but I think and it's just weird. It's just a little bit more of like the parenting aspect of it, if that makes any kind of sense. I found that it does help a little bit, at least for me. Um, when they're definitely having a rough day. But just like you said, they just want to know that everything's going to be okay. To know that they aren't alone, because a lot of the times, with different subs, I come across like the same like problems that they're having. So I think letting them know that they aren't the only ones, that it truly is going to be okay, that definitely, yeah, makes a world of difference to them.
Absolutely. That's interesting, like, because you have the perspective as a parent also. So, like, that's not even something I considered when I was, like, preparing for this episode.
I would like to give another perspective
Yeah.
because I completely agree with that. I love that we have like someone with parental experience. I would consider myself like the complete opposite.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I want to be a parent.
Hmm.
And in my case, I've actually considered myself oh my gosh, even my own community, I don't know if they know this, but like for a while, the most of my life, I considered myself more of a sub than a dommy person.
Mm.
Yeah, so now I'm a switch, right? Um, I think if I put myself in like a more submissive like mindset, I just want someone to take care of me and then destroy me
Yes, exactly.
in a loving way. And I don't know what the exact appeal of that is, but it's like I can entrust I trust them and I can entrust my existence to them, and that feels nice.
I trust them to destroy me properly and beautifully.
Yeah, with love,
With love.
with disrespect and but respectfully.
Yes.
And that feels nice because it's almost like I let them, right? It's
Right.
not forced on me. I also grew up, just to give myself like a background, I grew up with really strict parents who aren't very affectionate. To some degree, they were probably toxic. But I love
Damn, what's
them,
that like?
like yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah, right.
and maybe that's why I try so hard to give others that reassurance that they're doing okay,
Hmm.
that validation, because I know what it's like to not have that, to feel like everything you do is wrong, or like maybe your existence is wrong.
That you can do
And
no
I
right,
want,
basically.
yes, and I think I just want to be that person, or at least that voice that can tell them that it's gonna be okay, that they are doing just fine. And, you know, Wildflower made a really good point about being a parent, and sometimes it's just about being there for them, right? Like helping them.
Mm.
And I think that is so important to everyone, like I think anyone of any age, they just want to feel that.
That's really well
Husher,
put.
it's really my spirit sister. You're like my spirit sister. I swear.
Are
Yes,
you my mom?
no,
Mommy,
right,
you
I'm telling
got
you.
me.
Like you, so I have two kids. I was never having kids, okay? So, but here I
Let's
am. But
go.
um, but for me, like the way I draw it, it's like you put yourself in like the sub mindset. Me, I am subby to my core. Like I'm a little bit of a switch because of the mommy dom content, but honestly, I'm a sub to the core. Like I just hear the right word, like that's it, you know? And I think like you said, I put myself in that space and you just want to be cared for. You just want to feel safe. Um, you want to know everything's going to be okay. You're having a rough day. You just want to know everything is going to be okay. And then destroy me. But
Exactly.
destroy me. Because honestly, I really feel that the true power in the dynamic lies with the submissives. It does.
It
Because
does,
they really
absolutely.
have control over everything. Like I can't do anything without the consent and the understanding of this is what's going to happen. Um but yeah, I just had to add that you're like my spirit sister girl.
Oh my
So
god,
cute.
you know how ironic it is? Because this is a mommy episode, and like panelists are like, hi, actually, we're stubby.
I don't
No,
know.
this is exactly why we want to talk to creators about this sort of thing, because people don't know. They just assume that you are your persona sometimes.
Oh, I am.
Oh my
Oh, if
god,
that
I
was the
have
case,
so
could
much
you
to say
imagine?
about that. Okay, sorry.
No,
Oh,
go ahead.
no, go for it.
um, because there was a time I solely made mommy content, and I felt so boxed in that I was just this mommy character. But I wasn't, I was more than that. You're probably, I don't know if you ever wondered why I have a second channel, and that's the biggest reason, because I needed a space where I'm not a mommy. I'm just me,
Just cursed
like
potato
yes,
gamer
it's
girl.
yeah, like I care about others, and you can call me mommy all you like, but that's not just who I am. Like I am this whole person that just doesn't, you know, do mommy things, and I feel like in a way there was a time I resented it a little bit. It's like when you get so cornered into a box, you kind of feel a little frustrated, like, hello,
Start to
I'm
hate your
more than
content a
that.
little bit,
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I felt frustrated, like this is all anyone ever wants from me, and
Yeah.
it's very frustrating. It's like I am more than this.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
I think that's very interesting, that you mentioned that you're having this so we can get to know us better. I think that is so refreshing because it's just more common that people just assume based on what they've seen. They're like, oh, that this is you, period.
Right.
Like
You are your
Husher is
persona.
mommy,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
it. And they don't realize that there's more than that.
Absolutely. Like, I think when it comes to sex work in particular, but content creation in general, but sex work in particular, it becomes very dehumanizing sometimes, and
Oh,
it becomes very difficult to sort of have people see you as the person you are, beyond just like the horny or like the content or the
oh
character.
my God, that's so true.
Yeah. And that's why we've had almost 100 sex workers on this show to date, because the whole point of this podcast is to humanize sex work and people who engage in sex work. So,
I
Mhm.
love
thumbs up.
that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think that's a really um I really like admire that because one of the things that I also stand for a lot is that sex workers are people. And I fucking hate that some people just, I don't know why they can't wrap their head around it. Like, these are people working to make ends meet too. Like, why is that so hard to understand? They're not there for you to take advantage of or made fun of.
Yep.
Sometimes some
Mm.
people do it because they like it, and sometimes people do it because they don't have a lot of other options.
To
And
survive.
both is valid,
Hmm.
right? That doesn't mean that they're any less of a person. That doesn't mean just because they do that, it's an avenue for you, or it's like a consent for you to like shame them or like disrespect them,
Absolutely.
And it's so frustrating. Like, whatever job it is, you know, these are people like you who want to pay their fucking bills. So I really am unhappy when people are like so discriminating regarding like people's jobs. I feel like everyone deserves respect.
Or even just like a generalized like purity culture around like certain things, because you see it all the time. People are like, oh, I don't like lewd YouTubers, I think they're ruining like VTubing, like I think they're exploiting their audience. It's a lot of like people feel like they can take shots at like sex workers and YouTubers because somehow this is immoral work or this is work that's exploitive or something. And like it's
That's
something
true.
that I've gotten more and more like sort of angry about or more militant about in the last couple of months.
Yeah.
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 It doesn't help that like there are platforms that aren't very kind to it,
Oh
you
yeah.
know? It's
We will
like,
absolutely get
okay.
to that, especially YouTube and like the recent issues that
Uh,
ASMR have been having on YouTube.
No,
Yeah.
well, I feel like those that have a strong opinion about it, right? And
Uh-huh.
I say this all the time, especially if I make like an audio or something on GWA that's not like everyone's cup of tea. I'm aware of that.
Mm,
There's
of course.
warnings and everything. There's warnings and everything, but sometimes people still have something to say. So for me, it's like it's like, okay, I feel they listen, you know, and they enjoyed it more than they probably thought that they would or more that they expected to.
Mhm.
And now they don't know how to reconcile that with themselves. So the only thing I can do is lash out. I don't like it.
Lash out,
But you probably
dehumanize
did.
them.
oh
Oh,
my
but you
God, that is
probably
so
did. That's
true.
what I, so like it doesn't, so for me, like I don't like when other people just try to, dehumanize sex workers. I've been fortunate enough where I haven't really gotten that.
Mhm.
Just stuff about like, they don't like my content, but you still listen though. You know what I mean?
You engage
So
with it.
Oh my god, that is the
Yeah.
you engage
funniest
with it, but it's
thing.
like, and it's okay. You don't have to like it. The warnings are there, the tags are there, but it's like, I personally feel that you did get some enjoyment out of it, and based on whatever your upbringing, cultural expectations, whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
now you feel weird about it, and you don't know how to handle it. That is not
Yes.
my problem.
Right.
That's not my problem,
Your
and that's
post
how I
nut
feel.
clarity is not our problem, chat.
Right.
It's not my
We're just here to provide the nut.
responsibility.
Like, that's it. We're here to provide the nut. That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I feel
Mystique, go ahead.
I feel that people often reduce sex workers to a tool to provide their gratification. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's maybe a function of how porn used to be presented, especially by
Yeah.
the commercial porn industry, versus now the second wave. I consider this like the second or third wave of like pornography, because the first wave was of course like paper and like magazines, whatever it is. Second wave is the internet with a lot of gatekeepers. Third wave is people really taking agency of the industry themselves.
Yeah.
And you were always felt made to feel like these people were not human. They were just tools, they were just objects, things for you to get off to and then shove in a drawer somewhere, you know? And
Oh
I
yeah.
really do feel like that is changing, especially when it comes to live content and live streaming, because it demands that you respect this person too, and not just put any thought that comes into your head into this person's chat or comments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want. Sorry. Go. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Mystique.
To to go back to what we were talking about regarding the appeal of mommy content,
Mhm.
I feel that it comes back to the parasocial episode as well, that people are more and more isolated. The diminishing of access to third spaces, which are IRL social,
Yes.
are also contributing to feelings of loneliness, of disconnection, and seeking out um, a nurturing presence is often a response to that.
Mhm.
Um, People may also seek out a space where they have a win condition, like where they can, like, if they're given a task to put up with something or to do something, where they will actually succeed and get praise from it. Um, and that's important to people, to actually have that win condition and to be able to achieve something and feel like they've achieved something. I feel particularly, stereotypically with male children, they are taught that they need to suppress their emotions, suppress their need for softness, for comfort, and all of that is only able to be projected onto your significant other, your intimate partner,
Right.
and they are responsible for all of your emotional needs
You go
because
from
they
your
are
mommy
like,
to your wife, basically.
yeah,
Ah.
exactly, because they are sort of shameful for a man to have. So it's only acceptable to show that to an intimate partner who sort of sees all of you.
Hmm.
And if your intimate partner is not able to take on the role that you need them to take on, if they're not able to satisfy your need to sort of be submissive, or if they react badly. There are plenty of people who, like, they want to be submissive or dominant or something in the bedroom, and their partners are like, oh, well, that's weird, no. And they need an outlet, and I feel that online sex workers, mommy doms, we can satisfy all of those needs.
Very well put. Like I didn't even consider for a second there the pipeline essentially of going from your mother's arms to like an intimate partner, a wife or a girlfriend, with like
Hmm.
no work done on yourself emotionally to sort of process some of these feelings that you have. It can be a real problem. And then you
And that you're
see
not taught to do so,
you're not
that you're
taught to
not
do
taught
so.
how to parse your feelings.
And then you just get on the internet and complain about women in video games or something.
Yeah.
In short, you need better homies.
You
You
do.
know,
Absolutely.
homies that kiss you goodnight. And, you know, but like that's a big thing, you know, having a good social circle makes a
Mhm.
very big difference. Just having people, you know, provide that space for you to just be able to express that you're, you know, how you really feel
Hmm.
is very healthy. You know, people who don't shame you. And that's like the sad part about um our society. Sometimes it's like, why is like a guy expressing his feelings seen as a unattractive or
Weak.
unmanly thing? Like, I don't get that, because personally I think it's more attractive if a guy can express himself in a healthy manner. Like, isn't that just so much easier for all of us and so much better,
So
so
much
much more
less emotional
positive?
labor on your part.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like, God, okay, I just want to share. I've dated some guys and I feel like I had to teach them how to process their emotions. And I'm like, bro, I'm not a fucking rehab here. I feel like a rehab center,
Yeah.
man.
You're not a rehab center for broken boys.
I know,
And
but like I put myself through that because I'm a dumb idiot. But anyways.
well,
All done that at some point.
so did I. I've been married
Wait.
for
Oh.
15 years in like 3 weeks.
Ooh.
Um and
Oh damn.
I met my husband very young. We met at 18. We started dating when at the end of our 19th year. We got married when we were 22. He was 23. And he was an only child, mother's apron strings, like
Oh
all the way
dear.
around the
Oh
neck.
no.
Oh, I
And
think Wildflower has some... Oh, sorry.
oh no,
No, I'm just listening.
oh no,
Oh, a while ago I thought you were gonna say something. I'm sorry.
yeah.
No, all good. Mystique, finish your story.
And I had to teach him how to like express his feelings, and it took years and
Oh,
a lot of work on both of our parts. And it's such a shame that I think that a lot of men are stifled by patriarchal expectations, and that they are taught that, you know, they have to be taciturn and stoic, and that the only people they can really express themselves with are their mothers or their intimate partners, because those are, you know, those are the ones who will like tend to you when you're sick, or
Right.
you know,
Nurture you,
they
so to
will,
speak.
yeah, they are the nurturers. They are in charge of taking care
Yeah.
of you. And that's the only outlet you have for your emotions. And if you don't have that outlet, like, where else are you going to go?
That is the beauty of like online spaces, because you can be just a name in chat. You can take that stoicism off and just like let the handsome lady on the screen tell you're a good boy, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that a
that
nice
is
thing?
so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be told you're a good boy, you know, or even like that you're putting up with something really like painful. You know, pain can be a very pleasant experience that sort of pushes you into an altered mindset, into a heightened mindset. But, you know, being spoken to softly and told you're doing good, like while I'm, you know, reddening your inner thighs with a wooden paddle, like it's extremely affirming to be able to have that sense of achievement and that extent. Like, you know, when you're putting up with something that's very intense or going through an
Mhm.
intense experience, it is an intense achievement. And I think that's something that a lot of people crave if they don't have it in their everyday life.
So when are you putting out the mommy beats you with a wooden spoon audio?
Right, I was just about to say.
Ah,
Like, I
that.
think I would like to experience that. Okay? Like, I will be a good boy for you. Okay?
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. I'm just gonna make a note of that quickly. Excuse me.
Because suddenly I'm a good boy.
I did want to ask a bit about the correlation between maturity and like the mommy content, basically. So I want to talk a little bit about the stepmom trope, when it comes to like porn and such. So, the stepmom is a typical trope in mainstream porn, generally used as a stand-in for mature women, i.e., not teens or early 20 performers. Do you think your content transcends this trope, or do you find yourself playing into that fantasy at all? Basically, are you playing the role of mature woman in your content, or Hey, go ahead, Mystique.
I think also like sometimes step is just used as like a bulwark against, a fig leaf over like incest content. So just to be
Mhm.
Right.
clear, we are not speaking about that aspect of the sort of step trope.
Hmm.
Like, step uncle, no, I'm trapped in the Black & Decker orbital sander. Like, we're not doing that.
I just find that as a consumer of porn myself, I find that most quote unquote MILFs get typecast into stepmom roles. Like
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's never like I met this lady at a bar. It's not like this is your coworker. It's not like this is your like, I don't know, someone you like are hooking up with. It's your stepmom. It's like if you're of a certain age in the industry or have a certain body type, I find that that's where they typecast you, and that's where you constantly have to make content. I don't know if that is something that y'all have experienced, because I obviously, as a heterosexual male, I consume different stuff than you guys, but just something that I noticed.
So what do you consume?
Everything.
I mean, I don't hate it. I'm just saying.
All of it.
Tentacles.
Oh. That's a nice series. Like I think like you said in porn, yes, I think yes, when you are of a certain age, you have to like stick to that role. But I think for like audio roleplay, you don't necessarily have to. Like my first, I think okay, so like my first mommy content kind of, and it wasn't even stepmommy yet. It was just an older woman picking up a younger guy at a bar, but still made him call me like mommy, right?
Yeah, the cougar
But I
trope,
think
basically.
yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, some of my audios feed into like the trope. I don't have to stay there. I don't have to always. So I don't know. It's weird, but I do play into it because I do have a lot of young listeners. So yeah, that definitely like plays into it. Oh, 1 second. Okay, hold on. I have to step away for 1 second.
Yeah,
No
sure,
worries.
no problem.
I actually like the stepmom trope. The mom trope. I don't know. I do play into it. I make a lot of audios, and I'll add this into it. Okay. The friend's mom, stuff like that. My friend's mom. I think that's still stepmom. I mean, it's pretty much
Yeah,
the
I mean,
same.
Yeah.
Stifler's mom.
It's someone
One of
else's
the most
mom.
famous.
Yeah.
Stacy's mom. I don't
Stacy's
fucking
mom,
know. Yeah, no. I mean, I feel like that's like my first introduction to the mom thing. No, I'm kidding. Stacy's mom.
Stifler's mom,
Mine
Stacy's
was
mom.
mine was Stifler's mom in American Pie.
Yeah.
Oh. But yeah, I make a lot of audios that's like my friend's mom, or like stepmom, or I think there's also like like hot supervisor. I do a lot of like that kind of shit. So I also get a lot of requests for it. So I understand. And I personally I enjoy making those because I think it all kind of like adds up to what I was saying a while ago as well, where it's like it's someone who nurtures you, and just having that relationship, that trust is like, okay, we're talking fantasy level, okay, because real life is different. Real life
Yeah.
is not like that. But just like the concept of like it's a mommy character. She is there for you. She is meant to care for you, but at the same time there's something about that that makes you be able to trust her, right?
Because her love is
And
supposed to be unconditional.
Yep.
yeah,
So
like,
even if you're
she
mad, your mom's
accepts
not going to
you.
leave you. Well, you'd hope. Even
And
if you
there's
do a
also
bad thing.
Right.
Sorry.
yeah. No, it's okay. There's also that I think one of the most it's a very convenient position because you also live together. There is like so
Yes.
many situations where you would end up in a compromise like that could lead to a very compromising
Mm.
Sharing a bed,
situation.
walking into the shower.
Like whoops,
Getting
Yep.
stuck in
that
the orbital sander.
yeah, like I mean or getting they get stuck in the washing machine, like
Mm-hmm.
I need your
Mm-hmm.
help, like it's like instead of like having someone else, they're just right there, they're in the same house, so it all like it makes all the fantasies make sense somehow. Someone who cares about you, someone who already knows you intimately, someone who has authority over you, and being in a situation that, you know,
They're already there.
interesting things could happen.
Could happen.
You know? Whoops. I slipped in the shower. Help me. Right?
Don't
I
mind me. I'm
slipped in the
Googling
shower
orbital
and fell on this
sander.
cock.
Whoops. You're in the shower too? I didn't know that. I
Mhm.
need to take a shower too.
That one's
Oh,
mostly
you
a
know?
stepsis
The
one,
water.
actually. Like stepsis is
Oh,
hogging the
yeah.
shower, yeah, usually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I also do a lot of stepsis
I just started.
audios.
Yeah, or you could just go in and tell your son to get out the shower and you walk in on him
Right?
like masturbating.
Like,
And then
do
you're
it
like, oh,
outside.
you're really big.
Right. Oh, you can't sleep? It's because you're so hard. Let me help you with that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. See?
Yeah.
There's so many situations like your boss won't go to your house and be like, like you don't really do it in the office. I mean, unless you're that kinky, right?
Uh-huh.
Your boss
but
coming to your house. You
like,
to stop
hey,
waiting in
you
the
haven't
You're late
finished
for
your
work.
work. What are you doing? Why are you
Stop
wanking
masturbating in the
your
shower
thing?
so much.
This is why you're late. It's because you take too long in the shower doing
Right.
using all the lotion.
Yeah.
Oh, the body wash.
That conditioner was expensive.
Oh my goodness.
See, that's already like a plot for a stepmom. It's like,
I
Right?
think
honey,
you know about
why
that.
Yeah, I feel like we
where's
just wrote an audio here. Like
Yeah.
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 Like, honey, why are we running out of conditioner so much? Like, what are you using it for? And it's
Oh
like
honey, your
a
cock is so
very
soft.
so silky.
So silky smooth. So well
Your
so
pubes.
hydrated.
Why are your pubes
So much
fucking
body and
silky?
volume.
So much volume on the pubes.
I
Sorry,
can go through
Wildflower.
it.
I think
Damn.
you've been trying to say something for a couple of minutes. I'm sorry.
No, I can't stop laughing. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Sometimes you flicker on and off, and I'm like, oh, I'm interrupting people.
No.
Or, there's also the flip side of like, oh, your dad can't satisfy me
Oh
anymore.
yeah. Cucking your dad.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That
I've
was
just laughed at
very.
There was a really hot audio that I listened to where there was a girlfriend that was like hiding in the closet and the guy had gone out to buy something. And the dad found the girlfriend hiding in the closet and decides to take her for himself. And the girlfriend was like really subby, and he starts spanking her, and then obviously one thing leads to another, and he's like, I'm gonna keep you for myself. I want you to dump him
Ooh.
Oh my
gently.
god.
Oh.
NTR?
Ooh.
Damn.
Ooh.
And
Ooh.
like, oof. I don't know
that
why,
one.
but that did something to me.
I like that one.
We need to do an
I'm
NTR
not.
episode.
We
I'm
really
not as
do.
into that one. I'm not like super into NTR.
Neither am I. Yeah.
Oh.
I only got into it because my listeners were into it. It's funny. Because, like, I know a lot of people do it, and a lot of people are getting like backlash. You know,
Right.
I'm thankful I had that with my. I don't know what it is, but I don't get the backlash. I do feel like usually there's a plot twist in mine, and that usually it makes them feel a little bit better. But then even with some that is just remorseless, like cheating and making the husband do like CI, right? I get those messages like, I'm not into that, but after this, I might try it.
It
So
does
I don't know.
sort
Like,
of hit a very deep masculine insecurity sometimes.
yeah,
That's why people can feel
yeah,
uncomfortable about it. Yeah.
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 I just keep fortunate enough at least not to get the backlash, like, because they love it. So they keep
Yeah.
asking, I'm gonna do.
Mine too. I mean, even in like our relationship, cuckolding is part
Mhm.
of it. It's part of what I do.
Yes.
So I make content around like Futa, Jim Bunny Futa like
Hmm.
comes home and tells the husband like, "Oh, I fuck your wife," and she
I
likes
fuck
it
your
because my
wife.
cock, yeah, my cock is bigger than yours. Also, someone clip that. I need a drop of that specifically. I fuck your wife.
Yes.
I'll make it a sound alert in the channel.
I reach
Yeah.
deeper in your wife than you ever will.
So you're gonna sit in the corner and we're gonna fuck now, kind of
While
thing.
I enter her cervix, because that's how vaginas work.
Yes, that's how vaginas work. Penetrating the cervix and coming directly into
Into the
her,
womb.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
Jesus.
wild
Tap, tap,
shit.
tap. Get
There's no
pregnant.
such thing as logical anatomy in
Yeah.
porn.
That would
Definitely.
be horrendously, excruciatingly painful. Like, it's fun to imagine, but it's not real for
Right.
anybody who was wondering in the audience.
All right. It's hitting
Wait,
my face. It's not. Mm-mm. No, no,
I
no.
I saw the most ridiculous one, like a manga thing, where guys like they get shrunk really small, and they go inside her uterus and fuck her oviducts, and she's like going,
Huh?
oh my
what?
God, oh God. Like you wouldn't be able to feel any
Yeah.
pleasure from that or feel it at all.
Yep. I mean, like, a tampon doesn't do that, so why would
Yeah.
something smaller than that do that?
But the oviducts are like where the egg comes into the uterus. It's not even
Oh,
like there
Oh
aren't
yeah.
even
your
nerve endings
your
there for
tubes
pleasure.
That's true.
basically.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
I can't feel anything there.
Hmm.
That reminds me of this funny art that I've seen. I can't remember where I saw it, but basically they showed a side by side anatomy of a normal person
Mhm.
and what hentai would present it as. A normal person has all the intestines, like, mouth, esophagus, and then stomach, intestine, kidney, blah blah blah,
Hmm.
and then bladder, blah blah, and then the canal, the V canal or vagina canal, whatever we'll
Yeah,
call it.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
in hentai, it's just mouth, esophagus, all the way to the
Yeah,
vaginal canal. It's just that's
Just
it.
an ono hole.
Because like in some hentai, they like put the thing in the back and then the
It
cream
comes out the
comes out of
front.
the mouth. Like,
Yep.
wait, what happened to all the other parts? And
Yeah,
it's so
those
fucking
systems aren't
funny.
even connected.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's like, okay.
That's another t-shirt idea.
Hilarious.
I should start taking track of these. Those
Yeah, we
systems are
really
not
should.
connected. Just sell it as
Yeah,
merch.
like there's so much for it to pass through, for it to come out of the mouth.
Mm,
It's hentai
But
anatomy.
exactly.
But
but
it's
also
hot
like
to
if you
people.
come in the pussy and it starts coming out of their mouth, like the reproductive and digestive systems are not connected at all.
Exactly. It's crazy.
So you're saying if they come in the butt, then it actually is possible?
Okay,
I
that
mean,
one's
yeah.
more possible than the front, right?
True.
Again, it's physically possible according to like the Newtonian laws of physics. I don't think it would be pleasant,
The
but
Newtonian
it's
laws
Yeah,
of
I think
possible.
coming.
I think they'd have to go to the hospital
A little
if
bit.
that ever happens.
Oh my god.
And then they'll be like, "How did this happen?" You're like, "I slipped and fell in the shower. I don't know."
He was using too much conditioner.
we ran, he used up the whole bottle.
Um I did want
Oh
to ask this
God.
question about sort of the Madonna horror complex.
Oh
So
yes.
not terribly sure how many of you are familiar with this. I've kind of just familiarized myself with it this afternoon, but it's
Raising hand. Hello.
the Freudian concept of Madonna horror essentially. Um, what it dictates or what it describes it as is that men can only see women of one of two things: either a Madonna, which is a sexually available woman, or a whore. Sorry, a Madonna who is like a mom, saintly, not corruptible, or a whore, someone who is
Hmm.
sexually available. So it's like women can be one of two things, and once they are sexually active, they can no longer be the Madonna. They have to be the whore, so to speak. So I guess the question that I have for y'all is, though subject to much interpretation, the Freudian Madonna whore complex describes an economy where women are either saintly and maternal or debased and sexually available. For you, how does making mommy kink content subvert this expectation?
You can actually see this played out really well on, I don't know if anybody here watches Archer, but
Yeah.
anytime like his mother like is anytime she talks about like being a sexual entity or dating, he like faints
Yes,
or throws up. Like
yes.
that's it, that's the sort of phenomenon it's describing.
Archer, weirdly enough, is a great example of this because also when Lana
Hmm.
becomes a mom too, like her like sexuality dynamic with Archer changes dramatically as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. But yeah, what's it like sort of making
I
content at go ahead, Usher.
that is actually I'm kind of new to that concept. Uh-oh. My internet. Give it
Yeah.
a second.
Yeah. But the essence of it essentially is that you're making content where the mommy is sexual, essentially. So like
Hmm.
that flies in the face of what like conventional society is like. Okay, moms can't do that. Moms are something else. So like, how do you
Yeah.
feel about like subverting that like in your content, so to speak?
Honestly, I'm both. Like
Mm.
I'm both. Like
Right.
moms are both. We can both be motherly and we can both be whores for the right man. Like we can be both. Why can't we? Because whether people want to believe it or not, I mean, you're here. How did you get here?
Yeah.
Right? But
Hmm.
I'm sure, like, we don't want to think of our parents that way and stuff. But like before they were our parents, they were people too.
Hmm.
They were just like us. So I find it, I don't know. I just feel like I don't see how people feel like you have to be either or because I'm sorry, but we all are both. Like we're both in
Hmm.
one, if that makes any kind of sense.
Of course.
Yeah. I
So
feel like pornography in particular and kink is about taboo and
mhm.
exploring the taboo in hopefully a safe and sort of ethical way. And, maybe part of what makes mommy content so attractive is that it is that subversion of the Madonna complex with the whore. Like the Madonna whore spectrum is is a model that describes how people tend to see women sort of under a patriarchal system,
Right.
and things like sissification and feminization. Again, where men are becoming the taboo, the weaker, the sort of despised, or they don't despise women, but you know what I mean. That
Right.
sort of that lower on the totem pole thing. Um,
I've used this
I
example before, but like Kim Kardashian is actually a great example of this. Someone who was
Yes.
very sexualized before becoming a mom, and then after becoming a mom, elicited a lot of disapproval from people for still modeling
Hmm.
nude or like, being sexual, whatever it was. And it was a strange thing because, like, why does she stop being a sexual entity after she gives birth to something? Like, it doesn't really make sense to me.
Mm. I mean, look at anime. You've got like, you have the MILFs. The mature women are all wearing short skirts and, you know, they're all extremely sexualized, but anyone who is an actual mother, what are they doing? They're wearing like big
Apron, full
aprons
long dress.
and
Yeah.
yeah, they have like the side ponytail where it's like coming down and um uh like hanging down all soft like on the side.
Right.
So yeah, we are conditioned from sort of every angle to see our sort of to see women in this way.
It's so crazy that you mentioned anime, actually, because I think about like some of the examples, like Ash's mom from Pokemon is like 23 or something. I don't know. She's pretty young, but is dressed really conservatively. And then you'll have like a 30-year-old in like Cowboy Bebop wearing like short skirts and like tank tops and like the gun, and like the age difference is so dramatic, but like the roles are what defines them in like anime
Mm-hmm.
tropes.
Well, look at Jessie,
I
like Jessie and James, like tiny mini skirt and thigh high boots, and she's around the same age as Ash's mom.
Good point.
I love Jesse and James though, because
Oh
I
yeah.
love how they just like cross dress and stuff. Like they don't care about the gender roles. I love that. Anyway, that's a
Exactly.
completely different thing.
James is an
I
icon.
want to. I love him. He is such a great, like he's such a great guy. Like
Always just
he has
serving, you know
no,
what,
like no fragile masculinity whatsoever,
Zero.
and I love that.
No fragile masculinity, only get that Pikachu.
Yeah. I love it when he cross checks. Anyways, regarding your question, sorry,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was listening while I was fixing my internet.
Absolutely.
It has something to do with someone actually mentioned this in the comment section in the chat. It's something that has to do with parents.
Hmm.
Do you want to imagine your parent fucking? No, it's that.
Right.
Right. I feel like that is like the basis of it, because mothers who are connected to like the idea of being like a holy mom
The
is
Madonna.
like,
Yeah.
yes, the Madonna is someone who should set an example for their children and be family friendly.
Mhm.
It's like they begin to be perceived as someone who's like a parent. I mean, which is what I mentioned, like you don't want to imagine your parent doing the thing, right? It's so
Right.
awkward.
Of course.
But it's reality though. When you mentioned Ash's mom, yes, she may be dressed conservatively, but that doesn't stop people from sexualizing her and
Oh,
Mr.
yeah.
Mime. I
Oh
don't
yeah.
fucking know
Oh, yeah.
about that
Mhm.
shit. I don't know what's going on there, but I
Rule
think it's
34.
funny. Mr. Mime making him sit on the floor and eat off the floor. Okay. We love that for her. But that's the thing, there comes a time in most mature individuals who realize that yes, their parents, moms have sex. Moms can be both nurturing, both caring, and also sexual. Be
Mhm.
a parent and be a partner and be a sexual partner. Um, but that's the problem. There's a lot of people who can't seem to merge the two, who doesn't reach that maturity understanding in their brain that a mother is not just a mother, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Like it's like me being a mommy content creator. I'm not just a mommy content creator. I can be more than that. And I think it's not just exclusive to the Madonna um topic, but to a lot of things. People like, as humans, we're kind of conditioned to box people or box things in to make sense of it. We like to categorize things. So, for example, let's say a personality, let's say um, Anne Hathaway. I don't know, it's the first person I can think of. The first thing we think of, she's an actress. She's not just an actress. She is also a mother. She's also a singer. She's all these other things. But it's easier for us to kind of like identify her as an actress. And I think, that's one of the things about being a parent. It's like when you're a parent, it's almost like it becomes your identity when you become a parent. And people sometimes forget that you are more than just a parent, that
Right.
you can have fun, that you are a person, an individual who also has sex. Surprise. And people who are not mature enough can't seem to grasp this. Like, oh, if you have a kid, like, why are you doing these? Like, hello,
Well,
I
it's
can still
not.
be my own person,
Mm.
even if I
Yeah,
have a kid.
the Madonna Hall complex doesn't just refer to actual mothers. It's a concept of how particularly men, but people in general see women. And, you know,
Right.
it could be a teacher, you know, whether they're married or not, as Madonna, as this
Virtuous.
authoritative female
Yeah.
figure that
Yeah.
is virtuous and,
Unsexualized, basically.
yes, sexless, and you know, sexuality just doesn't come into play
Right.
with how you see them, and you would be shocked if you did. And whore doesn't refer to like a literal prostitute or a promiscuous person. It is someone who is
Sexually available.
sexual,
Yeah.
or and who
Mm.
you see as sexual.
Yes.
So that's what the phenomenon
The
is
feminist interpretation of it, at least.
describing. Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's many interpretations of Freud, as you can imagine. But
Yeah.
that is conventionally the feminist perspective on the Madonna whore complex.
Yeah,
those
just-
listening
Freudian
home.
slip is where you say one thing, but you really mean your mother.
I wonder though if it has something to do with like us having like a little switch in our brain to kind of consider something as sexual.
Mm.
Cause like how it sounds to me is like it could be like you see a friend and you just see them as a friend, and then one day they talk about their sex life and you're like, wait.
Ugh, no.
You're like, wait a second.
Mhm.
Oh,
Oh.
I don't know why I never thought that you do that. Something like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just think there's a part of our brain that, or like there's a part of our head that sometimes doesn't realize that this person, or never thought about it, that this
Right.
person is active.
Right.
And the thing is, like, I've experienced that. Like, when I was in college, I casually mentioned to my best friend something I did sexually, and she was so shocked. She was like, I don't know why I never thought that you just seem so innocent. And I was like, what are you talking about? So I feel like that's kind of just that. I think it becomes inflated, the concept, or
Mhm.
like the Madonna complex. I don't want to say this, but there are people who don't touch grass enough, maybe, and they don't realize that there's so many people who are actually active. That's just my personal take on it. I could be completely.
No, I think you're correct. Like, it's a very self-centered sort of like ideology of thinking, way of thinking, that the only women who are sexual are the ones that I find desirable.
What do you think, Wildflower?
You know, listening to all of this, it brings back memories for me, like just personally.
Mhm.
Same thing with Husher, just when you have conversations with friends, right? So I guess just to give you a little bit of context. So growing up, I was just like very shy, like so scared, right? And so my friends that have known me, and obviously some of us have grown up together, right? So even now that we have conversations, I've grown a lot, I've experienced a lot. And so certain conversations now that we talk about sex or whatever, or I'll explain to them like, maybe you should try this, or because this is what I do. They give me that look, like they just stare at me like they can't believe that this is true. And there's certain things I'm like, I'm telling you, just do it. And so it's I think also how people may, like you say, if you see a friend, right? You've known them to be this one way. So you already made up your mind, this is how they are, this is how they always will be. So whenever we come around with something new, it's like, I never thought about that. So I think even creating like the content that we do, it will allow people to open up a little bit more, just to consider like, okay, maybe I have been looking at women, maybe in the wrong light, or okay, she can be both instead of choosing. You know what I mean?
100% agree with you.
100% agreed. Yeah.
Like,
So like we
that
just
was so well put.
yeah, just try to find a balance because I mean, like I said, we've been taught pretty much honestly since we were little, right? Like this is the type of woman that is saintly, and this is the type of woman you kind of just no.
Mm-hmm.
You want she's just too sexual for you or something like that. So it's I think with the audios that we make and the content that we make, I think making it where there is a balance between the two can help change people's minds about how they view
Expanding their
certain,
horizons, so to speak.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for your responses on that. I personally am very interested in this because I do find this to be something that a lot of audios subvert. So I'm very glad that we were able to discuss that. I do want to pivot us towards more about the content creation side now, and some of the issues that content creators run into when making Dommy Mommy content and engaging with platforms. So for starters, let's start with the big relevant news that happened this week. Iron Mouse lost their channel on YouTube briefly due to abuse of the copyright system. Now, Iron Mouse is not a lewd content creator, didn't do anything lewd, didn't fall awry of that part of TOS, but many creators have lost their ASMR channels over the course of the last 6 months due to arbitrary decisions made about their content, whether it might be mommy content or just kissing you lightly or just breathing funny. Trust me, I got a strike once for breathing funny. So my question to y'all, if you create on certain platforms, any platforms at all, honestly, because every platform's got TOS, how are you sort of protecting yourself and your content in this sort of hostile environment against ASMR creators?
Well. I have something to say about that.
Let's
because I don't
go.
know if you guys know, I actually already had a YouTube channel taken down.
You did not, really?
Yeah.
Airy as well.
It had and I never got it back. It had 32K subs or something like that. Yeah. So it was a kind of shitty shit, but I don't often talk about it because it's like, what can you do, you know?
Right.
It's like you can't fight the system. I mean, I'm not powerful enough. I don't live in the US. I can't get lawyer. It would be too much more expensive to get a lawyer and stuff, and I don't even know how to go about that. If you guys don't know, I actually live in Southeast Asia. I am from the Philippines. So it would be kind of like a big, it just doesn't seem worth all the effort. But it's very discouraging. It's like, what do I do? You feel helpless and powerless because in a way you realize that these people can take away your livelihood in just a snap of a finger.
that,
it's not
yeah.
even people. It's a bot.
It's
A
an
bot
AI.
can
Yeah, it's a
do,
fucking bot.
Can just fucking snap their fingers and be like, I don't like the way you breathe. I don't like the tone of your voice. Like a mom. I don't like the tone of your voice. Go to your room. You're grounded and forever. And it's like, okay. And it was something that really drove anxiety for me. It just because what if I have to go back to corporate? It's like, what if I lose everything I've worked for these last 3 years? But then I realized, there's always a lot of other platforms, and well, it is unfortunate. But I did tone down. That's why I have a Pornhub channel now.
Same.
Because I had, it was a tough decision, but I did decide to make another YouTube channel. And I try to take it positively because going back to me saying I got boxed in doing mommy content, it was nice to have a fresh start and be like, you know what? Let's make something that I wanted to make but couldn't because people have always just expected me to make mommy content. And one of the things I'm kind of passionate about is meditation, and that's why in my new channel I
I
just
saw that.
do mostly wholesome, safe for work content that focuses more on like romance, like cute interactions, like that doesn't have to always end up in a makeout session, in a teasing session, in a like flirty, super like um
Any romantic
sensual.
context.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it can be just like a friend hanging out with each other. It can be like two people falling in love with each other or confessing their feelings. Like that is very sweet. I love that too. I also really like meditation because during some tough times in my life, it has helped me kind of like feel more calm. And I have some people who really enjoy that from me. It just helps them fall asleep. And so I try to take it positively, like it's a fresh start. And then I just started putting content on Pornhub instead. Like I don't go that far cuz I save that for the Patreon. Um but like there's always opportunities, and I learned something that there's just platforms that will always, like all these platforms will always have a hold on you, will always
Mhm.
have that power over you. Wow, they're Dommy. They're my Dommy mommy.
That's so well put though. Yeah.
Toxic dummy mommy.
And you have to branch out. You have to like put your eggs in many baskets just in
Mm.
case.
Mhm.
And it also made me realize how much of a stigma there is towards lewd or semi-lewd or somewhat sensual content,
Oh yeah.
that these platforms can crack down really hard on you. And it kind of makes you think like, damn, you know, I feel like there are ways to kind of go about it a bit better, to be a bit more inclusive, but they don't care about that. I don't know if you guys know there is this platform called Gumroad.
Yes.
Oh
Because
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a
Mhm.
large. I used to be very into VR chat, so I know a lot of
Really?
like avatar creators who create like not safe for work avatars, and suddenly they're like, their platform thrived because of these creators, and then suddenly they're like, you know what?
You have
Now that
30
we're
days.
bigger,
30 days to get hacked,
goodbye.
basically.
It
Yep.
was it was so like I felt so frustrated for the people because like, do you not realize how these creators have brought a lot of like traffic to your platform, and now you're just like, we don't need you anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
the
Tumblr did
CEO
the
of that
same
Like,
thing.
company was like bragging about his new office in like downtown Brooklyn. Like,
what the
motherfucker, like,
fuck?
yeah,
You're not
You
keeping
got
it.
And
that.
Enjoy it for
the
the one
lack of
month you can afford it.
respect.
yeah.
Mm.
Because
The
he like
lack
did
of
crypto shit now
respect.
instead, basically.
Oh
Like after
god.
like taking everyone's like lewd money, he just went into like crypto bullshit. So fucking annoying, honestly. Part of my language.
And it just makes you feel like, oh, so you'll just accept lewd content when it's convenient for you.
Right.
Is that it? And that's
Well, Tumblr
so
did the same thing.
frustrating. Like, where's the respect? Like, just because
Mm,
it's lewd doesn't mean it's bad,
yeah.
For more
right? And I feel
context
like people
on the
forget that.
For more context on the Gumroad situation, check out the Depths Podcast episode 27, Sex Work and Online Censorship.
Mm.
Sorry, just a little plug.
Oh yeah,
No,
and
but
also like
it's true.
PayPal not accepting,
PayPal,
lewd money.
Visa, MasterCard.
Yeah, it's like, hello, what the fuck? Like sex workers need to work too. Like, why are it's frustrating.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like there, of course, like we need to draw a line somewhere, but I feel like they're demonizing it too much. They demonize it too much.
Yeah.
They
It's part of
definitely
life.
they
It
definitely
feels like
bow
Like,
very quickly to these payment processors. Like they don't even put up a resistance. They're like, "Oh, you won't process payments for us if we have lewd content? Okay, we'll get rid of them. We'll throw them away." Like,
it's so, come on. I feel like we can do better,
where's the advocacy for
right?
people who like built your platforms for you?
I mean,
yeah.
excuse me, person who runs the the payment stuff. I'm sure you masturbate, fucker. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
But
but
like,
they but oh,
it's
they
like,
absolutely do. They're they're super rich corporate people. They probably do horrendously fucked up things legally for the podcast, and Lady Mystique do not believe that they necessarily do fucked up things, just that they probably do. It is my opinion. Not a
I
fact.
do. It's a fact.
No.
Co-signed
Well.
Atramentum_X.
Like
But-
this whole thing, it puts me in the like, okay, so for example, I have a YouTube channel. Nothing is there, right?
Right.
Absolutely nothing, because it's like I'm so scared to upload something and then it's just like, okay, no, you need to go.
Mhm.
And so it's there, and I've been thinking for a while, similar to like you, Husher. Like I have a lot of writings when I went through like a really rough period. So I thought about maybe possibly like reading those with like music, because obviously I can't put anything from, from my audios, even the parts that's safe. Again, I don't want them to think I read funny and then it's like, no, you have to go. So
You can't even link out to like adult sites or adult platforms, or even like Soundgasm.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can't.
See, that's good to know.
Yeah,
That was
you-
one of my
you have to-
3 strikes. Yeah.
Oh,
you
wow.
have to link out to an intermediate platform, basically, if you want to like have your own website, link to your website that then links to your Fansly or Pornhub or
Right.
Patreon or whatever.
Yeah, for context, chat, I lost my YouTube channel, both my ASMR channel and the podcast channel too. They took that as well.
What?
And like I can't even appear on YouTube as my character anymore. So I learned the hard way, basically. I had to restart everything
Yeah.
with burner numbers and everything, basically. Burner phone
Oh my
numbers.
fucking god. Oh
It's
my God.
crazy.
And Eri had to do that, and the only way she got her channels back, the only way you could deal with a human at YouTube is to sue them, is to
Basically.
get lawyers involved. And even then, like they after some back and forth, they gave her back her channels, but they gave her back someone else's channel. Like they didn't even give her back her own channel.
They don't know they're
Like
doing
that's
there.
that's how incompetent they are.
Damn.
Like she got someone else's channel, like full like access to the back end, everything.
What
And
the
she was like,
Wow.
this isn't mine.
Full access to the back end. Another audio idea, by the way, chat.
That is what I'm just so astounded by the incompetency. Because like, bro, this is like a big corporation. How do you hire someone that bad?
Mhm.
Like, oh my gosh.
But everything else is bots. Like even if you file the appeal, it's just a bot that checks if you have a strike against you, and it'll say like, yeah, no, you have a strike against you. Your appeal, if you file an appeal on YouTube, will not be seen by a person.
Yeah. There is no point, because I had 1,000 like subscribers. It's a lot to me. You know, I was approaching 100,000 views. It was a lot to me, but it wasn't worth it for me to like get a lawyer like for this kind of bullshit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know. I don't know how to sue.
Yeah.
I don't know anything.
It's always so funny when people on Twitter is like, "You should get a lawyer." I'm like, "Yeah, with what money? What?"
Right.
I mean, I could. It's so hard because I live in a country where it's not common to do those kinds of things.
Right. It's a very American
and-
mindset to just sue somebody.
Yes. Yeah. I have never met anyone in IRL who's like, I sued them. It's like the court's gonna be like, why do I care?
Right.
I mean, I can't even. I'm sorry. Let's just say I wouldn't say that my government and local government bodies and police are very competent and stuff. So
Mhm.
if you want to
I'm
like
from South
bring
Africa,
something
feel
to
your pain.
court, it would take months, even years to get it resolved. Like at that point, just give up. Just use your time and money for something else.
Hire a hitman.
So yep, exactly. It only
They just hope
by
to
the way,
frustrate you, basically.
I found out someone told me how much it would cost to hire someone to kill someone here.
Yeah,
and it
it's
shocked
actually
me.
amazingly cheap.
It's like from what I remember, it's like $100.
Yeah, South Africa is the same. It's not expensive at all. And in fact, there was a high profile case, Priyan Devani.
let's
How much did
go
he charge?
developing countries. You know, if things don't work out, I'm just gonna be a hit man.
Yeah.
I'll do a hit woman role play. I'll be like, "Where's the money? I've been
Oh,
paid to
hit woman
kill
falls in
you."
love with her victim. Nice.
That's a good
Yeah.
one, actually. I've been meaning
Oh,
to
that
write
one's
that for a
pretty
while now.
interesting. Oh
Yeah,
God.
captive ex-prisoner.
Mm.
I was hired to kill you, but
Captor.
you've intrigued me.
Now that I've
Lol,
walked
that would
in
be
on you
so funny.
masturbating in the shower with all my conditioner.
It's very high looks hostage taking with conditioner and showers and such.
Hmm.
Uh,
Do you
right.
enjoy being in this handcuffs? I don't know.
That. You know what? I'm gonna write that down.
All right.
We're
I
coming up
got
with
you,
so
bro.
many
I got
ideas
you.
this episode.
I know. This is the think tank, so to speak. We're actually we have been going for about an hour and a half. I
I know
want
it
to
doesn't
talk.
feel like it.
Never
It
does.
never does.
Never does. I want to talk a bit about purity culture. This is sort of related to the platform thing.
Oh God.
But how does purity culture and a generalized backlash against sex work harm creators and their audiences?
What's purity crate?
So purity culture is
Purity
this
cream.
purity cream is what you masturbate with. No, so purity
It's
culture
the conditioner.
it's a conditioner. Purity culture essentially is this idea that all public displays of sexuality are bad, and that the most virtuous way to be is to not acknowledge sexuality at all. And you'll see it often in VTubing when people complain about jiggly models or our girls or OnlyFans or anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
In which people feel victimized by folks being sexual as like VTubers, for example.
Yeah, purity culture, at its core, is the idea that sex, particularly sex for pleasure or sexual gratification, is bad and
Immoral.
dirty and
Yeah.
immoral and wrong. Which is why, like, there is so much, um, backlash. Well, not backlash. There's campaigns against masturbation. There's the reason that it's so common to be circumcised in America is because of Kellogg's cereal, who also created his cereal as an anti-masturbation tool.
That is true.
And the reason that
What?
circumcision was advocated for is because it desensitizes the penis. You lose about 50% of your sort of general sensitivity in your penis if you are circumcised versus uncircumcised. And it was because he was so against masturbation.
Damn, I'm trying to eat my
He
cereal.
was the original
I didn't know I was
incel.
into- I was like, damn, I didn't know my cereal was telling me not to masturbate.
No, this is completely true. Cornflakes were an anti-masturbatory aid. They made you want to not masturbate, apparently.
Because they were bland and
I
didn't
still
excite the
did.
I
senses.
still did it. Oh God.
That is okay. I've actually never heard of this before, but
Mm.
I mean, I don't know. I tend to view the world in a way where it's like, God, the world is so fucking big that you're gonna hate something about it. Surprise, you know? It's like murder's bad, stealing's bad. I mean, you know, someone probably thinks masturbation is bad and they'll tell you to stop. It's like, I don't know if I should bring this up, but like abortion, you know, like people are like, no, it's evil. Some people are like, no, it gives people a choice. So
Babies
it's
are a
like,
punishment for women having sex.
oh my fucking God. Personally, I think people should have a choice, but like that's just my opinion, you know. And I'm
I
not
thought you
gonna
were
push
going to
my
say,
opinion on
personally, I
something
think
else.
people should have abortions.
I mean, no. They should have a choice because I think a child growing up in a shitty environment is horrifying, you know? I mean, growing up unwanted,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, man, no offense, but like I'm depressed, so like there was a time I was like, I'd rather die. You know, like what if I wasn't existing, right? So it's like at that point, like because I have that experience, it's like I don't want people who experience worse to feel that way, right? So I really advocate for that. But anyway, that's not the point. I'm so sorry. I
Oh,
get
you're fine. You're fine.
but regarding the purity thing, it's like people will tend to advocate for what they think is right. And they'd be like, oh, sex is bad unless it's for me. You know,
Right.
people are
Yeah.
like, you
Yeah.
know, whatever benefits them, I guess.
Only
Someone
my
made a really
abortion is justified, basically.
someone
Yeah.
made a really
Pretty
good
much.
point in the chat actually. They were like, you know, it's like they sorry, let me just look for that comment. But it's like they're not okay with it until it's for them.
Right.
Mhm.
It's okay when they do it, but it's
Right.
not okay when others do it.
Or their
Yeah,
daughter,
it's like
So-
or
you
like someone
you often
they know.
see like those anti-gay pastors like in a hotel with 6 rent boys like hopped up on cocaine having chemsex. Like
And another audio idea.
yeah.
Oh my god, I like femboys.
Oh,
You're gonna
rent
love-
boys, not femboys, but like femboys
Oh.
too.
It could be it could be both.
I like boys.
Speaking of which, you
Mhm.
will love our next
And
episode
girls.
then. But yeah.
But
So
it's
I
true
think
what Dragon said. Like
Yeah.
women can't wear tank tops because men find it distracting. Like it's shoulders. Like deal with it. Women wear bras. Deal with it. It's not difficult.
Do you
Sorry.
think that maybe these people advocate for that because it's a projection of them not being able to have control over their own personal desires?
yes, absolutely
Yeah.
it is.
It's
Absolutely
also a
it
way
is.
to control ladies.
Yeah.
They just can't
Because
control their dick. So they try to control
They're
us.
uncomfortable. So if they're uncomfortable and they don't want to deal it, let's try to just, deal with the quote unquote problem, which would be us.
Right.
Mhm.
My thing is like if VTubing was strictly like safe and like, safe for 16-year-olds or whatever you want to call it, like no lewd whatsoever in VTubing, LewTubers did not invent people being creepy online or harassing like women or whatever it is. So if you are SFW streamer and you have people harassing you and being creepy in chat, that's not because LewTubers exist. Like there is no reason to
Right.
to like have this purity culture on like VAs and like VTubers, because it's gonna benefit you. Because we didn't invent creepy people; they've always
Or
been
jiggly
there.
tits.
Right.
Yeah,
I have 2 points that I thought of. First is no one is forcing you to be on these platforms. No one is forcing you to watch these streams, to watch these content, to go on that website.
right.
You are responsible for your own choices. So if you accidentally, I don't know, accidentally land on a lewd stream or Pornhub, I don't fucking know how that happened. Whoops, I typed the wrong thing. I don't know.
I tripped and fell into this audio.
Stop,
typed
don't
porn
complain
when
in
I
the
really
comments
meant, like,
section.
Communion wafers.
Exactly. I typed porn when I was trying to type prayers for myself, I guess. I don't know. But don't go in the comments section and complain like, why does this exist? First of all, why are you here?
Mm.
Right.
You know, like what the fuck? That's my first point. You know, no one's forcing you to watch these channels. Like it's like when people go into my stream and they don't like it, like and they're like, what is this? Blah blah blah. Like, sir, you know you could just leave, right?
Yeah, it's like, why are
No
you
one's
licking my ear?
telling you to Yeah, like no one's telling you to stay if you don't like
Just
it. You
fucking
like,
go.
close the tab. It's not that hard.
Yeah,
Alt F4, am I right?
right.
The second point is stop viewing anything sexual as bad. It's part of life. It's part of our genetic biological makeup. Yes, some people are asexual. And look at these asexual people. Are they complaining? No. Most of the asexual people I know are just chilling. They're like, oh, I'm not into sex. And then they just don't care. You know,
Yeah,
like
then they
I
just don't
don't
go to
watch
sexual
porn because I'm not
spaces.
into that. Exactly. Why are they the ones not complaining, right? They don't.
Right.
That's a thing. Like it doesn't matter to them, right? But it's almost like there's nothing wrong with sex. It's a part of being alive, it's a part of reproduction, and it can be a pleasurable thing. And the fact that people see it as a negative thing, I feel like these people who see it as a negative thing have a lot of things to unpack for themselves. It's more of a them problem, that they're viewing it so negatively. Like, why do you have such a negative relationship with sex? You
And why
know?
do you feel that you can
Um,
go to other VTubers and say that like this is not what VTubing should be about?
I
yes,
I think they're probably so, like you said, asking themselves that question. Like, why? I think asking themselves that question, they might be scared to find out what the true answer is. You know,
that is so
I think
true.
it's just a way of avoiding, having to deal with whatever you have going on with yourself. That's what I think.
Oh
Yeah,
right.
they
Um,
blame they'd rather blame others for
right.
their feelings rather
Like all
than
the
deal
time
with it
spent,
themselves.
right? All the time that's spent nitpicking and questioning other VTubers. I mean, all that time could be spent on yourself.
Yeah, go make your content, stop complaining about jiggly tits on Twitter.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I do agree that sometimes I do feel that people take it a little too far, the sexuality and stuff,
Mhm.
when it starts to hurt others or it starts to kind of like permeate into like younger audiences where it's not meant to be, present. Um I also still think, like, for the most part, people are responsible for their own actions. But that's always going to be a given. There will always be bad people in any space. There will always be people who take advantage in any
Right.
space, whether sexual, whether anything, even non lewd. There are people who like squeeze money out of people,
Mm.
even if
Oh
they're not
yeah.
lewd. So it has nothing to do with the act itself, with the topic or the thing itself. It's more of like whatever it is, there's always going to be bad people. There's always
Yeah,
going to be people who are not good.
I agree with
Absolutely.
that.
Like there's a children's channel people may have heard of called Coco Melon. It's where
Ooh,
Baby
yeah.
Shark comes from. There was a documentary that I watched
Hey, baby
recently.
shark, do 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 do.
I was
Yeah,
about to do that, but
where where the person who made it was exploring how Cocomelon makes is extremely addicting to children, and it makes them non-verbal
oh,
because it like fucks with their heads. And like one of the ways that they make sure that it's as addictive as possible is that they have a room with two TV screens right next to each other. One is playing upcoming Coco Melon content, and another is playing cycling mundane images like tea being poured or someone getting a haircut for like 20 seconds each. And they take note of if and when, exactly when, to the like millisecond, the child looks away from Cocomelon to the other screen in order to make it as addictive as possible, to tune everything so that the child isn't distracted. And that is completely safe for work stuff. It's not lewd at all, but it is absolutely putting the well-being of others under their drive for money and content.
that is so true.
Mm.
Sorry, that was
Like
just a
there'll
little.
always be greedy people.
Yeah, it's an
You
aside,
know.
but like I really like I agree with what Husher said. Like adult content creators have a responsibility to label their content appropriately and put it on the right platform. Because when
Hmm.
they don't do that,
Yes.
like you should like because like then you're risking like engaging with people you should not. And like I do have an
Hmm.
issue with some of these other content creators who like tag like hashtag Pokemon, hashtag Yu-Gi-Oh or something like that for
Mhm.
like their
Yeah.
nudes, and it's like okay,
Yeah.
what are you doing
That's
there?
yeah.
Yeah.
But I have an opinion.
Hmm.
I wish we can all work together. Accept okay, I'll give this as an analogy. Countries that have accepted sex work legally, you know, they put laws that protect the sex workers.
Mm-hmm.
They put them in places that are legal,
Yep.
where they put like to protect both sex workers and people like maybe underage people who shouldn't be there,
Or people are
right?
trafficked. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So
Absolutely.
I feel
Who may
like
be underage people.
that's what would be nice if we could work together with platforms to, instead of like putting us in a box that we're bad, it's like, what if we put better systems, better like ways of like uh classifying our content that doesn't get shown to people who don't want it. An example would be like, there was a time in Twitch, right? If your content is labeled as this sexual whatever, it won't be shown in the homepage of la 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 la.
Right.
Like it won't be in the recommendations of people or
Right.
something.
YouTube
But
is the
what
same
if,
thing.
right? What if we just have another function that's like gives the viewer a choice if they want to see it or not? Just
But
like
that
a
would be
like a
addressing the root of the problem, which would require sort of cultural and social changes, and that's hard. So
that's
it's better,
true.
it's easier to just demonize people that can't
Mhm.
fight back against you.
I guess it's more of like my personal wish,
Of course.
idealistically, I wish that
Oh,
could
I
happen.
absolutely agree.
Like, it would make everything so much better for everyone.
There's so little
At least
protections
that's
out
what I
there.
think.
Someone can come tomorrow and say on Patreon, like, nope, you're not allowed to do this on Patreon anymore. And then livelihood's gone. And you've got no
Yep.
recourse. It's terrible.
It just seems like the only way out of this, in a sense, is like you said, just have your own website. Or what you do is structure, your VTuber persona or even the other websites just as a business and go from there.
Mm.
So that way, I'm assuming it just depends, I guess, on how you word it,
It
right?
depends, because like then how are you taking payments?
But it depends on how you word and structure what your business is.
Right.
That's true.
Because at the end of the day, Visa or MasterCard can refuse to work with you too. And that's kind of the crux of all these issues, honestly. It
And that's
really,
true.
at the end of the day, is not a Gumroad or Patreon or OnlyFans or Fansly issue. It's a credit card company issue.
Mhm.
They decided
Right.
they don't want to work with adult content because if somebody in their boardroom, some investor, is like, no. And then it has this ripple effect on literally millions of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the issues of monopoly is that they're the biggest two, like by miles and miles and miles. So like what they say goes.
Oh. So then how do we get around that, I guess, is the question.
We start our own credit card company with blackjack.
blackjack.
Oh
and
my
hookers.
god. Damn. You know what? That is big brain.
Yeah.
Imagine
You know
if
what?
like
Actually,
YouTubers got
what?
together and started a credit card company,
Please don't give
like
Mr.
so
Beast
you could
ideas.
pay. Well, Mr.
But
Beast is
honestly,
cancelled,
I would
isn't
be
he?
really happy about that.
Oh,
Like,
It
I
would
mean,
be. It would be
like
good.
having an advocate for us. That would be nice.
mhm.
Because we're always like the bad guy.
We
The
are.
lewd people are the bad guys. And it's like, what? But I'm just like, I've experienced less drama from like the lewd tubers, like lewd creators than,
Mm.
I
no
know it
offense.
seems dire out there, but I actually do have hope for the future. The more that Visas and MasterCards of the world reject us, there will always be a demand for what we do. So somebody will find a way to make money on this shit and like make a platform, make a payment processor that's friendly to sex work. Like
Mm.
it will happen at some point. I don't know if that it has to do with like, crypto or like some of these like fintech things or not, but at the end of the day, like somebody will figure it out. Like
Mm.
that's my optimistic view of these things. My pessimistic one's like
Our-
they're just gonna keep like
Our
pushing us
he's
further
gonna
and
be our
further away.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And like
Our lewd Jesus.
Lou Jesus.
and like I'm
Please
sorry.
save us.
like look at the intense violence that you can find on YouTube and Twitch,
Oh
like
god.
even in video games,
Mhm.
the intense violence, people being dismembered and,
Mhm.
horror games, like really fucked up stuff happening.
Mortal Kombat.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and
I love Mortal
and
Kombat.
when there's any kind of like sexual, not like overtly
If there's a
sexual, but I
female
mean like,
nipple on screen, like
yeah, a female nipple or like any kind of sexual implication that is like, like the dogs descend and like tear you to shreds, which would be shown on Twitch, not the nipple. You have to censor the nipple. The dogs are fine. Have
female
I taken
presenting
this metaphor
nipples.
far enough?
TM.
It's
Yes.
like
Yeah.
no nipples, but you can show me the intestines. That's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And like even there's distinctions between male and female genitalia, because you'll notice in games like Saints Row, you can have a dildo bat and they're like a just straight
Oh.
up big purple dildo bat that you can beat people up with. And you can have bulges and even the flash of like a dick. But the second there was a vagina, I can't remember if it was in Grand Theft Auto or Saints Row, like there was uproar. Uncensored
Oh.
dicks and dildo bats and stuff are fine. One uncensored vagina and the internet lost its mind.
A flash of dick is what I call my channel, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's because people just don't see pussy enough.
Mm.
I don't know. I'm sorry, but like,
No,
it's a
it's
weird thing
protect
to-
the kids gone insane, basically.
It's like
Mhm.
seeing a pee is so normal that, but like seeing a vagina is not.
It's so
That
confronting.
it's like when you see when they're like, oh my god, protect the kids. But if
God,
you see
I
a
wish we had those
dick, it's-
norms. That's as a child, I've seen way too many adult male dicks. Like that should be like,
right,
right?
and people
Yeah.
just
Praise
drawing
Nicki
dicks.
Minaj
Like,
for normalizing wet ass pussy. I'm sorry.
but
Shit,
like
sorry.
even like when I just walk outside, there's like a dusty car. Somebody drew a dick on it,
Hmm.
Well, to
right?
be
Like the
fair,
shape
dicks
of dick.
dicks are funny.
Oh,
I know, right? I think it's funny too.
Dicks are funny.
I used to make a joke like,
Yeah.
like a vagina looks like a monster.
No,
I'm
it's
sorry,
a
not
flower.
like
It's
it.
a
I
flower.
mean, it looks like a clam. Like you open it up, it's like, ooh, oh wow, that's a lot. A dick is
Mhm.
just like, oh, it's like a hot dog.
Or if you have your foreskin still, a sad old man.
But yeah, I just think some people are just, they just put too much value. Value, is that the word? On like nipples and vagina. It's like,
Oh shit. Wet ass pussy
oh,
was Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. I'm so sorry.
The Depths apologizes to Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion.
And
Keep doing
Nicki
what you're doing,
Minaj.
Queens. And Nicki Minaj
Mhm.
too. Yes.
someone said in chat, if you can draw something in a game, someone will always draw it.
Draw it. Well, it's called time to penis. That is an actual game dev industry term. Is how quickly you can make a penis out of something. Like in Spore, the time to penis was basically 0
Right.
because you could just make one.
I have not heard a Spore reference in like 15 years.
I know, I'm so old.
How old? Wait, are we allowed? I don't know. Mm-mm.
We're allowed to say our ages.
I'm turning 35 tomorrow.
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be 37 very soon.
No, I'm guys.
Sorry, what was that?
Was that you? Was that you, Wildflower?
Yeah,
Wildflower?
I'm older
Oh
than
my
all of you
god!
guys.
Come here, baby girl.
Yeah, I am 42.
I would not have guessed that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. They still don't.
Wait, sorry, how
Yeah.
old? I'm so sorry.
Oh, I'm 42. I turned 42 last month.
Hey, mommy.
This is where Husher tells us that she's like 22.
I'm 26.
Oh, a baby.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. I'm young. Actually, that was a thing. I didn't want to talk about my age before in my streams because everyone called me mommy, and I'm like, how would they feel if they realize I'm
Yeah.
probably younger than some of them, or most,
Yeah.
Milk
or
is a
half of
state of
them?
mind.
It is a state of mind.
Yeah. I don't feel my age. So,
Hmm.
It's okay. You're young at heart.
yeah. It helps that I don't look it either, so that also helps.
You really don't. Oh my goodness. We're coming up on 2 hours, believe it or not. I'm gonna ask. So, chat. I'm gonna give you the opportunity here. If you have any questions for Husher and Wildflower, you need to get them in now. I do have sort of a generalized content question. So, the question is, what would you say to a creator that feels that they may not have the voice or general demeanor to do mommy kink content, but would like to get started?
They do.
They do.
They do.
Yeah, just do it.
You do.
Yeah.
If,
For
like
me,
a cute
I
mommy
feel
who spoke in that voice that Wildflower did, and being like,
Just do it. Just do it.
oh,
You
that
think
was
it's
me.
so
I'm sorry.
big. Is that my conditioner?
yeah,
Oh my
Wait. I'll try. See, okay. It's all in the inflection. It's
I'm
not
so sorry.
in
With
the
Right.
pitch of voice.
Mm.
Okay. So I'll do a little experiment. I'll use a higher voice. This is just my normal talking voice when I'm very relaxed. But I can do a very much higher voice if I wanted to. Um, so I could try, but I think being like I'll just give you tips to people who want to try. Um, it's all about the attitude
Yes.
and the inflection in the voice, how you talk. And it doesn't matter like what kind of voice, what pitch of voice you have or stuff like that. You don't need to change that. You can talk like this and still be mommy. You know,
That is great.
it's okay. You don't have to be different. Just have to be yourself. You know,
That
like you
is
could talk
valid.
higher if you want.
Yeah.
And just having that personality of like, come here, baby boy. I'll take care of you. You know that it's
Mm.
all in your in like how you project yourself, right? For me, I had to lean into that actually because I never really projected myself that way, but my voice sounds like it could. So when I leaned into it, it obviously like made the effect a lot stronger because like when I'm talking like this, I don't really sound like a mom, but when I start talking like this, you know, I'll take care of you. Don't you worry, darling. It's like it makes a big difference.
Mhm.
So it's really not in like the pitch of voice that you have, the kind of voice that you have. It's how you use it. It's how you project yourself. That's how I feel about it. To anyone who's like worried that they don't have the voice or like what it takes, it's if you feel the personality, just go for it.
Yeah. I'm
Great
so
advice.
sorry, Wildflower, for my terrible impression of you. I can't do that voice as cute as you did.
It's okay. My voice is off. Yeah, I'm just getting over a cold. But Husher, first of all, I want a hug. I want a hug. I
Aw,
love
I
the
want
voice.
a hug too.
I love the mommy voice.
Hang on, I'll move you over real quick. Where is your PNG? There it is.
There we go.
Hug.
Okay, that doesn't look like a hug, but I'll take
like a
it,
friend.
Yeah, I know, I
Sitting on her
know.
lap.
Oh man, yeah, okay. I like that too.
Agree with everything you said. I feel like it really is just the inflection. So for my audio role plays, I just use my normal voice. I can't do many different voices. That's just not me. And that's okay. And so for me, what I found out about the whole mommy kink, for me, it was like people in chat, like my patrons, and they're just like, say this. They were just giving me like lines to say,
Mhm.
right? They were like, can you say this? And so once I started, that's when like the whole mommy thing started. So for me, it was just like she said, it's just an inflection in your voice and then on certain words, right? If I know something triggers someone, then either I'll lower my voice or the inflection will go just a little bit higher. So it just depends. And I think depending on who is calling you mommy, if you know them a little bit, then you're going to cater to whatever it is that works for them.
Mm,
Kind of like how I do it,
Really
but
good point.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's an
Absolutely.
attitude.
it
We do
really
have
is.
we do have a question in chat from Dragon's Baron. Dragon's Baron asks, do you have any stories of positive interactions or favorite moments you have from making Mommy King content?
Oh, we know Wildflower does.
I do. Actually, it's not necessarily about me. I have a couple that is subscribed to me. Well, it was the boyfriend first, and then he would constantly talk about his girlfriend and what he would want for her to do, which is tie him up so he can call her mommy and all this other stuff. Pretty much be just like a femdom. And so I encouraged him to get his girlfriend in touch. And when guys get their girlfriends in touch, like the girlfriends and the wives loves me. So we just talk like on our own. And so for me, I'm the bridge between the two if they don't feel like they can fully tell their partner, like, this is what I want.
Right.
I don't come out and tell them, I just drop little hints or make little suggestions, right? So for me, it was getting this very vanilla girlfriend to literally go like a complete like 180 and just full on femdom slapping everything. Like he calls her mommy now all the time.
Ooh.
Amazing.
So for me, it's
Wow.
it's great that they can, but a lot of the times for me, it's people that want their partner to be mommy,
Right.
or they want to be mommy to their partner. It's just like, okay, how do I tell them? Because they know like they're pretty open minded, but it's just like, how do I make like the transitions? Like, hey, I want to try this,
You ever feel like a
And
sex consultant or a sex therapist in like some of
yeah,
your content?
I feel like I've actually played a sex therapist in some of my other role plays on Patreon, but I do just because I mean, like you said, you want to humanize sex work, right? Like we're all
Right.
people, we all have these desires, and we shouldn't be shamed for it. And so I just try to create a space where people feel okay with that, whether it's just with me or even other patrons or other like-minded people, right? I'm really big on people like judging themselves because I used to do that, like high on anxiety and being depressed and all that, and really just, am I good enough? Is this gonna work? And just it's it's a headache. Like I was just tired of it, and I don't want people to come into a space bringing those feelings they carry with them every day in the outside world into this space. You shouldn't have to do that here. You should be able
Absolutely.
to let go. Whether it's mommy, dom, whatever your thing is, you should just be able to come to a space and kind of just let your hair down, pretty much. And so for me, that's just my main goal with everything, with the audios and what I do. So, but yeah, the mommy content is getting the couples to be like the women to be mommy and the guys calling them like, for me, that is just perfect for me. I love it. So
Yeah, it's like reestablishing the power dynamic in a relationship. It's a very
yeah,
important thing. Absolutely.
yeah.
How about you, Husher? Any sort of favorite moments from your content journey?
I think because I focus on the ASMR aspect, some of my best times are like when people tell me that I've made their day better. I've given them hope. I've given them the comfort. I've made people cry, not in a bad way, not in a negative way, but like cry because they didn't realize they needed to hear the things I said to them.
The catharsis, basically.
Like,
Mhm.
it's like when I told them that they're good enough or something.
Mhm.
Some people have cried and because they didn't realize how much they needed that. And that to me makes everything worth it because if I can make someone forget their problems or let go of their problems or comfort them,
Mhm.
I feel like it's all worth it, you know? And I've had people tell me that before my audios, they had a hard time sleeping. And because they listen to my voice, they listen to my audios, it helps them sleep. And it's a big impact. It's like a domino effect because they sleep better, they do better in their day-to-day work, and then they feel a lot better about themselves. And then they just feel like their life got better. They get up they get up every day and they don't feel as horrible. And that to me is like, I love how just something like creating mommy content or ASMR content can bring that change in someone's life. I think that's one of my favorite parts about the work. Yeah.
Well, you're doing amazing doing that.
I think,
Thank you.
yeah, I think for me, one of my favorite parts, even of just being a Dommy mommy in general, is helping people explore that side of themselves in a really like safe and non-judgmental and non-exploitative way. And seeing people get brave enough to admit um, these things about themselves, that's really rewarding for me. Like that, peeling back the layers of the onion and showing that vulnerability is something that I find very, very pleasing. Like I have a partner who is dominant. He's a male dominant, and he's been submissive with me like once or twice, but like those times like really stick out in my head because being submissive requires a lot of trust and a lot of intimacy and a lot of like just connection and mutual respect. And the fact that he trusted me in order to drop his like his dominant side and explore or show that submissive side was like something really, really special.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
It is a lot of trust that has to be cultivated as a creator. And I
Yeah.
hope that if you are watching this are hoping to get into making this sort of content as a Dommy mommy or even as a Dommy daddy, even we have not really spoken about the Dommy daddy side of things. It's not the episode for it, but
Mm.
you know, engendering that trust in people is just so core to like making people feel good because when they trust you, they can drop those barriers that we all have. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And when they trust you, they will care about your opinion. Like if someone that I
Yeah.
don't care about like calls me a piece of shit, it doesn't affect me one way or the other. I'm just like, well, so are you. Like, fuck off.
Hmm.
But if someone I care about calls me a piece of shit, like it will either wound me or it, if I was submissive, it could buoy me up. So yeah, the trust and the caring about like the other person and what they think of you is the key, I think.
Absolutely. So yeah, this has been the Depths podcast with your host Atramentum underscore X. What we want you to sort of take away from all of this: sex workers are human, which sounds like such a silly, basic phrase to say, but know that behind the personas, behind the channels, behind the numbers, even so to speak, everybody faces their anxieties, everyone has their personal struggles, and
Hmm.
making content like this can be quite challenging, especially with the hostile environment out there with platforms and moderation and AI and all the
Mm.
crap that people have to deal with. So, you know what? Be nice to your mommy kink provider. Maybe throw a little extra tip in there sometimes because they're going through it from time to time. But yeah, like trust very important for making this sort of content, as well as understanding that when people make this for you, it's because they want you to feel better and nurtured and safe. And for that reason, um, yeah, I mean, this is a service that people provide to you. It's not something to be stigmatized, and it's not something to be sort of marginalized.
Mm.
We have one last minute question from Dragon. Did any of you have trouble shifting from more of the gentle affirmation content into more of the actual content? If so, do you have any tips for how to overcome that challenge? That's actually kind of a good question. I kind of want to answer that actually, if you guys don't mind. um,
Yeah.
for me, I mean, so I'm not a femdom or a mommy. I have no maternal instincts whatsoever.
Atra
Um,
mommy.
yeah. I mean, for me, like I've been conditioned my entire life to feel like if you give anyone, a stranger, like that sort of sexual affirmation, that you're putting yourselves at risk and that you don't really know the person or what they like and they're gonna hate it. It is kind of a difficult thing to put yourself out there, like if you're doing a fancy stream or like, a stream on OnlyFans, to be like, you know, doing the whole like, oh yeah, you touching yourself to me, blah blah blah, that sort of thing. You just have to kind of trust that your audience understands your vibe and that people get that this is a performance, so to speak.
Mm.
And that if you transgress someone's boundaries or feelings, that it's not on you. It's because of a gap in communication that happens from just being online and doing online performances. So, yes, it can be difficult to go from affirmation to something more lewd because I did sort of BFE content for 6 months before going straight into sex work. But in general, I find if you engender a culture around you that is built on communication and trust, that you're not going to run into a lot of issues, honestly, because people kind of get what you're about and you can kind of clock people's energies too. What do you guys feel?
I mean, I didn't
Um,
have any trouble making that transition because I've always been a very sexual person. I enjoy connecting with people on a sexual level, not like necessarily fucking them, but like talking about sex and, making those kind of jokes or having flirtatious intimacy. So it was very instinctive for me personally.
For
for
me,
me, oh,
oh,
sorry. Go, please. Please go ahead.
um, for me, I didn't find it that difficult. I mean, I just jumped in straight to the lewd stuff, right?
Mm.
But within that content, one of my script writers I work with, we like to put in what we call emotional boners. So
Yeah.
there's a little bit of like the safer work emotional, like you feel safe with the partner, so you can go and do all the degrading stuff later on in the audio, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I think for me, it wasn't difficult because there is that in the audio, but then the same as Lady, like I've always been comfortable just with sex in general. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's one of those. It wasn't that difficult, honestly. It really wasn't that difficult.
Yeah.
I feel like I have more to say on this because that was a little difficult for me. It took a months process, like more
Right.
than just a month.
Mhm.
I grew up in a somewhat more conservative household. I'm Asian, right?
Right.
So, uh,
Belt.
and and the fact is like I live in an Asian country, so like it's even more,
Mhm.
surrounded by people who are like not so open about those kinds of things.
Right.
Um, there was a time when I started my VTubing journey, I was very like wholesome, but I was someone who enjoyed like making lewd jokes and talking about like sexual topics and just being open about it because I've always felt like it would be nice if we could just be a bit more honest, a bit more open about that and not treat it like a taboo thing, like, oh my God, like, so but my fear was if I started doing a little bit of that, people would kind of objectify me and no longer respect me. So it took me a while to like slowly warm up to it. And only when I realized that people weren't going to do that to me in this space, like as a streamer and everything, um, I began to into it a bit more, and I realized that the right people will come along. There will always be assholes. There will always be people who are like, yeah, suck my dick, you whore, or whatever. And
Yeah.
you realize it's so fucking easy to just block them, ban them, and be like, all right, anyways, weird.
Yeah.
Look at that weird person and projecting his insecurity or whatever on me. But then I realized how sweet and lovely my community is. And that affirmations, because I started as being a ASMR streamer that does affirmations and
Mm.
caring content than the mommy or like the sexual content, it can both exist at the same time. I can make it exist at the same time. Like I can degrade you and then immediately give you affirmations. There used to be a joke in my stream that they get whiplash because I'm like, everything's gonna be okay. And then it's like, now, you little
Hakta.
shit. Like, "Hakta," and they're like, whoa, the whiplash. And then after it's like, anyways, I just want to remind you you're worth it. They're like, okay, wait. Wait, that became like a thing in my stream. Like that is who I am. And so I think my main point, my conclusion to this is just be yourself. Do what feels right for you because that will be your content. That would set you apart, or maybe at least what at the end of the day it feels right, it feels true to you. And right now for me it's like I am both goofy, funny, and also I can be flirty and lewd, and I can also be very caring, and I can be all of that. And that's my content. I embrace that. And I feel like my community understands that and likes that of me, hopefully. Hopefully.
I'm sure they do.
If they
I'm
don't,
sure
well,
they do.
shit. So I think at the end of the day, transition, if you like are afraid, transition to it slowly, take your time and do what feels right for you. You know, don't pressure yourself to just suddenly go into it and do it. But if that's what feels right for you, go for it. You know, don't be afraid because I feel like life is too short, you know, to be afraid to do things that you want to do. As long as they're not illegal and doesn't hurt others, you know.
Right, consenting adults and all that.
Can I add to that really quick?
Yeah, of course, of
So
course.
I want to say, like, I think also, like, I want to touch on what Husher said, like, your community, like, they're there for you, right? And I think I agree, like, the more that you're yourself, right? And honestly, if you have this connection within your little community, honestly, just talk to them, you know? This is what I'm thinking about doing that. Like, and you can just have a little chat, you know, and just let them know. So that way it's just like they're all on this journey with you on every little step. So, like, for example, I want to start doing like darker content, right? I normally don't, but I, you know, talk to my chat. I'm like, so don't be surprised if I drop something here in like Discord chat that's like it's a little bit darker than what you're used to, because obviously I can't put it on like other platforms, right? So I love the fact that they're very supportive, even though darker audio is not necessarily in my wheelhouse of content. It's not necessarily in my catalog, but it's just something new that I'm trying, and they're there for the journey. It doesn't mean I'm going to stop making content that I normally do, and content that they normally enjoy. Is just I'm adding something new, you know. And I think yeah, if they rock with you, they rock with you. It's just
I love
I
that.
I have one more thing to add. Just
We
a
are on your time,
reminder.
guys, so you can talk as long as you want. Trust me.
Oh, thank you. If you're a content creator and you're worrying about like transitioning to something else, I have a lot of experience in that because, you know, like as you know, I do gaming and variety content now. I think you have to think of it this way. If you're gonna do something, why not do what you like and what makes you happy rather than staying in something that's crushes your soul? Because that's how it felt for me when I forced myself to just do what I felt people wanted me to do. And I feel like it burned me out. It felt like I crushed my own soul. I crushed my own passion and creativity. And I realized how important it is to just let yourself do what you want or that feels right to you. Because at the end of the day, you know, that's better. You know, you might lose some people, sure, but at least you won't lose yourself. And that's the most important thing, right?
And there are
And it's so
7.5
easy.
billion people on the planet. Like, there will be people out there who like what you do, whatever it
That's
is.
true.
So
It's
true.
so easy to lose yourself when you're
like
doing
even if you
content
could just step
creating.
away, I think to find time to figure out like what it is you want to do exactly in your transition, that's okay too. Like I had to do that before I felt like really settled into like my character, you know? It's okay to step away and like was it Lady? I think like you said, they're gonna be there. Right? There's always gonna be new listeners. They're always gonna be there. So If it means taking a break and stepping away to kind of just figure out what it is you really, really want to do, that is totally okay.
Mm-hmm.
The
I
thing
think
is,
I'm
I
gonna
feel
get
like I struggle with that a lot, to be honest. I always care about like what is expected of me, what works, and stuff like that. So it's very tough for me to like take a risk and do something that I'm not sure people will like. But I I feel like at the end of the day, it's important to choose yourself. And I always often forget that, because like I sometimes, as a content creator, I feel like I try so hard to cater to what I think people would want or what people seem to want that I forget to ask, what do I want, you know?
Mhm.
And I guess that's just a reminder to anyone out there who might feel lost. Maybe it's important to like ask yourself, what do you want, if you had a choice to just do without all the other factors.
Yeah. It's also fascinating, I think, um, answering, I think it was Dragon's Ben's question, um, about what what our favorite moments were and what we get out of it. Like, even though we're all sort of mommy-dom content creators, I think our sort of what our favorite parts of it, the things that keep us going are quite different. And I just was so fascinated hearing like what you guys got out of it and like what your favorite parts were. And it does show that like mommy doms, sex workers are people. Our motivations and our drives are myriad and numerous.
Absolutely. I think the biggest takeaway is like the fact that like our guests don't even identify as doms in their regular lives, honestly.
Hmm.
No.
Except
Even-
me, I'm a sea hag everywhere.
Does anyone want to choke me?
No, no, don't. Just kidding. No, no,
no,
no.
no, 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 bad. uh, but yeah, thank you for the aside, indulging us on the aside there, Usher and Wildflower. We do really appreciate it. But yeah, this has been the Devs Podcast. I'm your host, Atramentum_X. I hope that you've learned a thing or two from today's podcast. With us as always is my co-host, Lady Mystique. Mystique, why don't you do a quick plug about where our guests can find you?
You can find me at ladymystique.tv. That's all one word, ladymystique.tv. You can find me on Twitch and Fansly. I have a YouTube and a TikTok. Nothing is really happening on them right now. Oh, and I have a Pornhub. Nothing's happening there either. But like, I have them. And also, it is 4 in the morning. So it is officially Atramentum's birthday. So I just want to say happy birthday to.
Can I sing for you?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Let's all sing. Sing in the chat, everybody.
Oh my god.
have a terrible singing voice, but-
birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
I sing for my
to
chat when it's their
you.
birthday. Happy birthday, happy
Dear
birthday.
Atra.
Happy
Happy
birthday to you.
to you.
Sorry, it's really hard to sing at the same
The
time.
discordant
The
Discord
Discord
happy
delay.
birthday.
Curse you, Discord.
Thank you, sweethearts.
Atra has been one of my best friends. He is the Bert to my Ernie. I love him so much as a follower, a
Waka
leader,
waka.
a
Aw.
comforter, a confidant, and a
Aw.
friend, and a partner in making both this and some really hot, fuck, nasty content.
No
Hell
kink.
yeah.
You are
sorry.
my most trusted person, the person that I can tell anything to, and I know that it won't get out and end up on Twitter.
As far as you know.
So,
that's
as far as I
sweet.
know, yes, you may have a burner account where you post our chat logs,
Yes.
but I just wanted to say that you're fucking amazing. I am so proud of how far that you've come, how much the greatness inside you has grown, and
Aw.
I hope that you enjoy your birthday and feel special
Thank
in
you so
all
much,
ways that are
Mystique.
good. Mm.
But enough about me.
Claps.
Let's have our guests do some plugs also. Husher, where can our guests find you?
Butt plug.
No, sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, don't be
Ladies,
sorry.
we
That
need
will
all
literally
butt
be the
plugs.
next episode. You'll see in a second. But go ahead.
Okay, sorry. You can find. Oh my gosh, I'm just gonna give you my where you can find all my socials. It's because I have a lot. I make content on 2 YouTube channels, 2 Twitch channels, Pornhub, TikTok, and yeah. So I have a Twitch channel for gaming variety streams, yapping, karaoke streams. I sing as well. And I also have a Twitch channel that's just for ASMR,
Mhm.
and for like role play content. So because I love doing role plays. And I also have a YouTube channel that's for ASMR audios, and I have another YouTube channel that's for funny clips or funny stream highlights from my variety streams. And then I have a TikTok that's for like shorts or funny short clips as well. Wow, I'm busy.
You
You
are
are
busy.
busy, holy shit.
Yeah, I try to make a lot of content. And Pornhub is for like somewhat more spicier, semi-spicy content that's, audio role plays, a lot of mommy, step sibling kind of situations. And I have a Patreon that's also that's the not safe for work. That's the like super extra spicy if you want that.
Mhm.
So yeah, a lot of platforms.
So for
Sorry for
ASMR,
that.
that's
Yeah.
Husher VA on Twitch. For gaming,
Yes.
that's HusherX_. 2 channels on
Yeah.
Twitch. Very admirable. Go check both
My
out.
ass is. Sorry, someone said
My
it.
ass
As
is
Flash
everywhere.
Maximus says, my
My
ass is
plug
everywhere.
is everywhere. Joke. Just kidding.
We always stand hardworking creators on this channel because sex work is work,
Yeah.
people. Usher, thank you
That's
so
true.
very fucking much for being on this podcast. You are amazing, so hardworking, and honestly so very personal.
Thank you.
Personable. Absolutely. Thank you,
You guys
so
are
much.
amazing. Thank
You're
you for
amazing.
inviting me.
Next up, WildflowerPhoenix. Tell the chat where we can find you.
Okay, my ass isn't everywhere, but I mean, my little ass is on Fansly though. So, I on Reddit, Patreon, and Fansly's all Wildflower Phoenix, all one word. I do have a YouTube channel, and there's a Twitch channel. Nothing's there on my Twitch channel yet, except for like a smash or pass thing, and then yeah. So for me, it's just busy creating the audio role plays, like my long form audio role plays are on Patreon and Reddit. And then I'm working on a few projects. One I can say there's this app that I am working with. It's clear to men definitely in the men who experience like, either erectile dysfunction or any other like issue. So they want to try different forms of content to see what may work, what may not. So we're kind of like in the beginning. So hopefully soon I'll be able to talk a little bit more about that. But
Interesting.
That's fascinating.
yeah, they found me through Ocleo.
That's so
So I'm also on Ocleo. I forgot. Yeah, so I'm also on Ocleo too. But it's just another platform to have my free audio. It's the same ones on Reddit. So I know not everyone has access to Reddit. Not all states have access to Pornhub. So I have to find another platform. Yeah, but that's where you can find me.
Chat, make sure you follow WildflowerPhoenix on Twitch. Get them to affiliate as soon as they start, if they do start, when they do start.
At some point. At some point.
At some point.
I
Wildflower.
like how you were like my tiny ass. I'm like, nah, girl, that's a thick ass. You're thick.
Yeah.
Y'all
see the first PNG. Wildflower, thank you so much for coming back on the podcast. We were so thrilled with your first appearance on the pod, and we just had to have you back again. You work incredibly hard, and frankly, your content's so very good. Thank you very much for appearing on the pod today. Absolutely.
Thank you.
And
It
chat,
was so nice meeting you.
so nice.
Yeah, likewise. This was such a great discussion. I
It
really
really
enjoyed
was.
this.
I was so pumped for it. And I want to do a special also little mini shout out too. Ari Gomu was going to join us tonight. Ari was not able to join us for reasons. But I do always want to encourage Ari, who's been a frequent contributor to this podcast, has been on 5 episodes so far. Please always check Ari out. Ari has struggled so much with censorship and sort of the puritanical culture of VTubing and such.
Mm-hmm.
So I really do want you all to follow Ari as well, because Ari is a fantastic creator. And while we would have loved for you all to hear from her too, circumstances did not dictate that tonight. So,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Go check her out.
But she's very nice. I've talked to her a few times.
She's
Yeah.
such a honey. I love her.
So much.
She really gives me the mommy, honestly.
She does.
Like she seems like that kind of person who's on top of things, and I'm like, wow, how?
Mhm.
She seems like so in control, of
Yeah.
her content and platform. I just really admire her.
I do too, honestly. Like, she
Mm.
is just such a hardworking person, so very composed.
I know.
She is gold.
Yeah, she comes across as so unflappable. Like, she never loses her rag or like goes off or loses control. Never like she doesn't court drama on Twitter unless it like finds her, because obviously she was the target of harassment because she is a lesbian and married to a woman, and there is someone that was or still
Some
is
people are
harassing
just-
her with mass reporting
reporting.
across her platforms.
Yeah.
And they were trying to deplatform her, and she still kept her cool, which was incredible. I would have lost it and just started crying.
Well,
Yeah, I
as
would have
Luke
like
creators-
disappeared, honestly. I'd be like,
Mhm.
goodbye, world.
Yeah,
No, I
that's
mean,
it.
not in that way.
We
I mean, just like,
Right.
like I'll just lay low and
just walk
yeah.
away, basically. But no, like, people who really stick in here and like advocate for themselves are an inspiration always.
So
Because
strong.
this
honestly.
podcast wants you to advocate for yourself, to humanize sex workers, and to fight for your rights. Anyway, I've been your host, Atramentum_X, writer, streamer, and YouTuber. You can find all my content on Atramentum.inc. That's Atramentum.ink. The Depths is hosted on Friday nights usually. Today it's not Friday, but it's usually on Fridays. We'll be back again on October. Let me check the calendar. October 11th. Thank you, Mystique. Which we will give you a preview briefly in a sec. But aside from that, we're signing off from the studio tonight. Have a great night. And remember, sex workers are human. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Ah, crap. I didn't put the right video in. Hang on. Okay,
Good night
there we go.
-1. Good night -2.
Bye.
Bye.
Butt plugs.
Bye.